What a show, ladies and gentlemen. What a show we're going to have today. Not only are we going to talk about all these crazy things. Is the Joker thing happening? Is it not? Deadline says no. Hollywood Reporter says yes. We'll figure all that stuff out. But we got two Schmoedown superstars on the show today. Not only does Rachel Cushing return, we got the dastardly one. Ghia is here talking about everything else. Ben is here. RB3 is here. I think that guy Brett is here too. Something like that. Yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SEN Live. That's right, we are kicking it here on what the hell is today? Wednesday. That's right, Wednesday on SEN Live, the Schmoedown Entertainment Network. Really feeling those vibes from everybody out there, and what a table we have today. Engineering like a madman. He is the R, he is the B, he is the 3. RB3 is here. Kicking on over to Rachel, the Crusher. Cushing is back. Brett Sheridan, Ben Goddard, and ladies and gentlemen, joining us for the first time on SEN Live, the dastardly one, Ghia is here. What's up, brother, man?
What's up, man? I'm so excited to be here. I was wondering if you were going to call me, and
come on.
I finally got the call.
Come on. You knew I was going to call you. It is exciting to have everybody here because there's so many great topics coming out today, news-wise, but we have, like I said, we got two Schmoedown legends here we're going to talk about, and a team that almost was in Rachel Cushing and Andrew Ghia. We'll talk about all that stuff. I know that the Action Army, by the way, is ready to schmoebot your ass. Did you know we have? Do you know that should we release the schmo? Do you want to see the actual schmoebot?
I kind of want to see. I've heard so much about this schmoebot.
It's
I want to
legendary
take it
already.
On. Yeah, it really,
crazy.
really
it's like the Rocky robot. It looks as big as the Rocky. You want to take it behind? Yeah, just it's right. No, it's right there behind. There's no real robot.
Oh my God, there it is.
Bateman was like, tell him it's a real robot. Tell him it's a real robot. He thinks it's a real robot.
I legitimately asked if there was. Whatever you've done with this schmoebot thing is absolutely genius.
It's David Michael Frank, man. He had the idea to do it, and I said, let's play with it. But the other thing I was going to ask you is, and this is something that Ben said to bring up, you guys did a show together the other day, right? He said,
"You're starting with this."
Yeah. He said that in the middle of this, he released something into the room that you never really caught on to, but you had to have. And he said he gassed you out in the middle of it. And he said there's no way he didn't know that I farted in that room.
Oh, God, are you kidding me? That's been our story of being on camera.
He's like, he does it all the time.
Yeah,
I don't even notice anymore.
Yeah. There's another one.
I thought this was something new. Are you kidding? Like, if you watch us do the Action Guys or AMA, every now and then you'll just see my face kind of be like, just kind of look around like, what the hell? But he's not here today, so I know who to blame.
Yeah. Well, Brett. Yeah. That's the truth. Brett, did you get any trouble for ragging on your kids yesterday?
No, I showed it to them. They loved it.
They loved it?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. You're gonna rag on them again today? Maybe get
but
a good,
then I
good
forget that I curse and whatnot. And
yeah.
It's an interesting thing with with my kids that I'm going like, what are you watching? Is it inappropriate and stuff like that? And then I come here and I'm like the most inappropriate person.
Schlong.
Career day.
C-bombs all the time, and I'm like, you guys don't watch anything bad.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, Rach, because you have been watching and part of the show way before you were a personality in the space. Yeah. Doesn't this feel kind of old school schmoes like the SK?
Oh, definitely. Like first, I started watching the Toad Hop days, and then when you're at Popcorn Talk, like it was just. And that was always your appeal. You were a gang of friends who also loved movies and news and television, and you would just like shoot the shit.
Yeah.
And everybody who was watching felt like part of that. That has always been the gift, and it's the gift of Schmoedown too. It's the fans are a part of it. Yeah. And that's very unique in entertainment space, because there's usually a pretty big divide between the two.
Well, I saw something on the comments yesterday where they said that it's just they like that it's just less structured and it can go anywhere, and that's kind of what my thing has always been. I like the idea that we could be talking about one thing for 1 second, and then the fact that whether it's the Schmoebot or whoever it is.
The robot just derails everything on this show.
But the robot, though, and to make sure that, because we know that's the case, that's why it's only available for certain portions. Because if it was the whole show, it would drive me crazy. Because there are things that I want to be able to have conversations about. Like, if I know that it's that time, then, okay, let's not try to get into too much serious stuff. Because in the middle, like, well, I just found out I have to get my leg taken off. Your balls stink. Bah, 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 bah.
I heard Ellis got in a fight with it.
He gets into a fight with it every day.
Of course he does.
We were having a debate earlier in the day of who we thought got it worse, Bateman was on. Because Bateman gets it bad. The Schmoebot, they come after him.
He's so calm about it.
He just knows.
He's just like, whatever. But Ellis, like you said, like wants to fight back, wants to argue with the thing, and like.
he does, and that's what we said. We said when Bateman was getting it, we're like, oh, Bateman gets pretty bad. Then Ellis comes in, and he's just like, oh, hold my beer, because man, that Schmoebot just took him off. But we're not going to have the Schmoebot, until I'd probably say like 10, 15, 10,
We don't
20.
know who she identifies or they
We don't know.
identify as.
We're not going to label.
Not going to put that on them.
No labels,
Schmoebot.
but she will not be playing Harriet Tubman. We know that.
No.
Okay.
I thought I misread what you wrote.
Everybody did.
That I misread
Is
what
this
you
an
wrote.
Onion article or something?
That's what I said.
It had to be.
With
And then,
CGI
oh my
James
God.
Dean for Harriet Tubman.
Well, so if you didn't know, there's this story that Entertainment Weekly had posted out about the fact that this is like 94, 95 when Julia Roberts is in the height of her career, and it's like something you see on Mr. Show. You know, and it's like you see the cigar chomping execs, and they're like, "All right, what's the movie today?" I'm like, well, we're gonna think about doing a romantic comedy, and then all right, here's all the girls that we can get today, and well, sir, we got a really good project here that we think can get Oscars. It's about Harriet Tubman. I got the right broad for you. Who's that? Who's the pretty woman, girl? No, sir, Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman. It'll work. I'm a genius. Trust me. Everybody was had their bagels, dropped them on the floor. How do you not quit? He pitched Julia Roberts to play Harriet Tubman. It's like.
And then supposedly once he was like told, well, that wouldn't work because, she was black. He's like, oh, nobody remembers that about history.
That was a long time ago.
Let's just pile on right now.
I know.
You're just beyond idiocy.
Hysterical because my favorite is in the article. It says, fortunately, there was a black woman in the room.
Thank God for her.
It's like the only one would come. Wild idea here. It might not work because she's white. Because then we listened, because RB3, you walked in here with this, like, laughing your ass. We immediately thought of the Paul Mooney thing with Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. It was like, Meryl Streep's about to play Harriet Tubman. And honestly, like, I wouldn't put it past Hollywood, man. I really wouldn't. Like,
that's the sad part about it.
I know.
And you think it's absolutely absurd, and then you go, you know what? Actually, I actually could picture that happening.
It's not the worst thing they've done.
It is. It's like they're trying to get her to do the Robert Downey Jr. Tropic Thunder thing,
right?
And it's like there's no shot. Julia Roberts looks at it and goes,
God, no.
I feel
"Great
bad
idea
for her right now.
Yeah,
she got caught in the crossfires of this.
She's just like, I had nothing to do with that, and trust me, that would have big no for me, dog. It's crazy. That's the craziest story. Ben sent it to me last night, and I'm like, what is who wrote this? I'm like, this is.
So how did that get out of that room? Who was?
It's like a screenwriter, they said, or something.
Yeah, someone had to just sell that guy out. Just done.
But what I'm wondering though is like, you hope, because I'm with RB3, you can't put it past anybody, but it's like you hope that it's just this guy going, I want to make up this fucking crazy story that some like lunatic like pitched Julia Roberts at and see who buys it, right? It's because
the internet.
Yeah. Well, we buy it because you don't put it past
like,
people.
well, Cruise was just the last samurai, so we can make something work.
Right. Well, that was the conversation that people are having. So I think sometimes, like the bad ones, Prince of Persia, that's an atrocious one.
Well, the Aloha one.
Yeah.
Aloha was bad.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that, I mean, this is the as far as being pitched, the worst one I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
amazing stuff.
I think it's even funnier, like when you think about like 2008 was the year that like like we had like Tropic Thunder and all that too. But then like we've also seen like mad historical movies that are without people, not like with even like Argo won Best Picture and he's playing a Latino dude, Ben Affleck.
That's true. Yeah.
It just goes.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. But
That's why my all white Roots failed. It was. I pitched that all over town.
Didn't
no
work,
one
huh?
bit.
No
one bit.
I wonder why. Okay, fine. Anyway, yesterday was a really fun show, and today's gearing up to be just another one, a really fun one. So I wanted to talk to you guys before we get into start turning the Schmoebot here, both Rachel and Andrew, about the Schmoedown here. Drew, you just took on the Wildberries, and what I'll tell you, what I've seen with that match is that because the Wildberries walked in, you and McWeenie were loving the fact that you were in there. Burnett was pissed, right, that you guys were having so much fun with them. But we saw a different side of you in this match that we normally don't see. You were having fun. You weren't really talking too much smack. You were goofing around, and it was a lighter side of Andrew during the Schmoedown. Why so much fun? Is it just because of the Wildberries?
I mean, yeah. If you can't beat them, you join them, right? And like, no one wants to see anyone be mean to the Wildberries. They're like the nicest kid, the funniest kid at school.
Right.
And if you go and bully them, you're just a jackass, right? I don't want to be that guy. I love the Wildberries. I wanted to go out there and have a great time. And also with tournament season, I love tournament season.
Yeah.
Rachel, you know how it is. Everything changes in tournament season. You know, you could have 2 matches in a day. You could have a match every single week for the rest of the month, the rest of the year, whatever it is. And so it felt like just the appropriate way to like kick it off, have a good time. And Makuga and Dewberry are just amazing.
They were really fun. It was a great match. It's really entertaining. You guys win your first match. You got another match coming up here, whether it's going to be either the Paddington 2 or who the hell are they playing in the or
Evil Geniuses.
Evil Geniuses, excuse me. Yes. So you'll be playing one of those two, and then Ben Bateman already is playing in the Spectacular. He's playing Bibiani, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a big one. The Founding Fathers are now the champions. If you guys play all the way through, there is a shot that we could see the family versus the Founding Fathers for the title. How satisfying would that be to not only play Roca again, but to play Merle again?
It's so funny. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, holy crap, man. Like, I could make Dan play me again.
Yeah.
He can't get away from me. And I know Dan never wants to play me again. I wouldn't ever want to play me. I mean, I think that would be the most perfect way, because what would have to happen is that we would have to beat Who's the Boss on the way.
Yeah, if
we are technically going to make it through the tournament, we have to play Who's the Boss. They're on the same side of the bracket. We got to beat them, and then we go on to the Founding Fathers. So I got to kick Ben's ass, and I can kick Dan's ass again, and I got to get Roca in his place. Because Roca's the only one. He's the one that got away.
Yeah. So you're looking at this team tournament. Who stands out to you? Because you got the family, you got the Odd Couple, you got Founding Fathers, you got Shazam, Time Machine. There's so many. I mean, the Looney Bin, Self-Righteous Brothers. There's so many teams out there.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of thing where everybody's only just looking at like 1 or 2 teams.
Right.
There's legitimately half the bracket could go all of the way. And I love the mix of the teams, because you did it last year with Anarchy. You threw everything up in the air and then saw what teams came out of it. This year, there's a couple of veteran teams like a Who's the Boss and the Odd Couple who've been together for a while. But, Drew and Drew have only been together for half a year at this point, Time Machine is a newer team as well. And then Shazam's, they just won their second match ever. Right. So I love that mix-up, because it does make the anticipation higher, and it makes the studying sort of like, I'm not really sure what that team's capable yet.
Right.
The tournaments always show what people are capable of because of what Drew's talking about, running through it like that.
Right. Well, speaking of Anarchy, a lot of people may not know this, that in Anarchy, a lot of people were matched up. Had the Shirels not won the championship, then Rachel and Clark both would have been in the tournament. Clark would have actually been paired with Drew McWeenie, and Rachel was going to be paired with Andrew Guy. What an interesting team that would have made. You were bummed that
That is my favorite team that never was, and my favorite team that ever will be.
Yeah.
It's going to happen one day.
Hey, Dan.
It's just
welcome to
he
the
turned
show.
to the robot.
Oh, it's wow.
This
we're back.
may be the only nice comment you get today, so I hope them first. Keep up the great work you're doing on Action Industries, the Ultimate Schmoedown, Team Tony, and CRL.
She's got a light.
Now the dogs will be unleashed. Love ya, brother.
Yeah, we're going to turn it off now. Thank you, Ed. But that one, the Schmoebot is not on, and that was a little. It slipped through. It beat the system. It Skynetted us.
Oh God.
But yeah, you were saying as far
Do we
as
still have audio? That's a big thing.
It is this show. Hit the music. Dun, 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 dun. But anyway, so it almost happened. It was something I was really interested in seeing, but the Shire Wolves were just too dumb.
Good, man.
They were too good.
And Ben just doesn't know how to say words that are told in his ear. Spoken directly into his ear.
Oh.
Just repeating them. It's a tough thing to do.
What are you talking about for spectacular?
Say Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh.
How hard is that to say? God damn it.
Yeah,
I'll never let it go.
That's right. I totally forgot you guys played against each other too in that live event. That was,
My favorite thing about Who's the Boss was when they were first formed was when Ben would come out and be a jackass, Riley's face. I just figured that would be our whole career together because Rachel's the sweetest person you've ever met. And I'm obviously the exact opposite of that in the Schmoedown.
Right.
I just thought our chemistry on stage would have been amazing.
it would have been pretty fun.
I
Ultimate good versus and ultimate bad.
I think it just would have been so much push and pull. And like, I think that just would have been so entertaining for people because I just envisioned like, kind of having to rein him in, but him, possibly like getting through and like pulling, a little bit out of me. And I have to say that my biggest regret was, I would have liked to have been able to walk around with a cane. I just think that would have been
I would
fun.
like to see you at least one match as like a heel. Would have been amazing. The way that Riley turned Bateman into a good guy, I would have loved to seen him turn you into a bad guy.
I think that's what our team would have been. It would have been push and pull. I would try to pull him to the good.
Yep.
He'd have been pulling me to the evil.
That would have been interesting to see. Here's another thing. I guess I can give this little bit of an announcement. You guys don't even know this yet, and it's going to be something Mark and I talked about. Nothing is confirmed yet, but what we realized. What we were going to do next year, starting off in, I think, January 11th, we were going to have the Schmoedown Awards, and then the 18th was going to be the draft, and then the 25th was going to be in New York. What we realized is that with the schedules of competitors and other things and crew, we are going to combine both the awards and the draft into one day, which will most likely be January 11th. And what we will do is going to be like so there'll be some of the awards that would very similar like the Oscars where you won't see it presented, but you'll be like, oh, the winner of this award was, and we'll kind of condense the awards instead of being that 3.5 hour show. It'll be more like an hour and 15 minutes, and then the draft will happen. And so that way, all the competitors will be there, all the managers will be there, and we're hoping to live stream it. We don't know yet. We're trying to figure it out. If not, it'll air the next day. But we're going. We met about it yesterday, and that's kind of the idea of what we're gonna do. But the draft is gonna change this thing dramatically.
Oh yeah,
I'm very excited for it. Do you have? I mean, obviously Burnett is probably the guy you'd hope to draft you at the moment. But
yeah, I mean, right now I think the family's got a good thing going with the crazy man, the captain at the helm. I like what he's done. I just that day is going to be crazy. Yeah. I don't even know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to end up where, and honestly, what that means because like Rachel was just talking about, with the teams we have right now, they're absolutely incredible. Like there really are. There's maybe like 2 or 3 teams that you could call jobber teams, but even then, it's like you saw the Wildberries. Dewberry had a perfect round the other day. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. So the idea of that, and then I truly believe managers are exponentially more important than they were at the beginning of this season.
Totally.
I think that the game has truly changed, especially because of Gucci and what he's done. And like, you can give that guy as much crap as you want, but you watch him when a match is happening, he is locked in just as much as any
He stresses
competitor.
out. It's the most I see him stress out at over everything.
He paces.
He does.
He does. He looks up every answer. He looks up every question. He looks at the boards. He calls things out. He challenges stuff. He calls timeouts if he needs to. Like all that, you take a manager. I'll just use Rachel as an example because she's here. You take someone that has the skill and the knowledge of the game that Rachel does, and you put her in a position to control a new team, even like Shazam. They're new. Bib's been in the league for a while. Brennan hasn't. He's a talent, but their chemistry might not quite be there yet. You take someone that knows the game, like let's say Rachel, and you put her in charge of people like that.
Right.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly that's what Roxy did. I think she was the person that the manager that showed that angle. Because like different managers have brought different things over the years. They've been mouthpieces and they've been, the person looking out on the sidelines for possible challenges and things like that. Emma was a coach. Emma was like, getting the buzzers for us, and we were practicing and doing flashcards. And then Roxy came in and took the 2 unlikeliest partners. I mean, you talk about I
Hence
still think the odd couple to me, like taking in Draco and Snyder and putting them in the same room together. I was like, I don't know about that. But then you put Roxy in there too, and she's not going to take any bullshit from either one of them and be like, all right, you're good at this, you're good at this. Talk to each other, cut the rest of it out. And she turn them into a fantastic team.
So all that stuff, it's going to be very interesting to see what the managers can do. And you guys will be able to come to both, by the way. That's another reason why we wanted to do it. We wanted to make sure that the fans were able to come to it. So we'll let you know once we lock everything down that you can come. It'll be in Los Angeles. Aiming for the Comedy Store. Nothing's confirmed yet. But as soon as tickets are on sale, we'll let you guys know. It'll be the draft and the awards. So we'll let you guys know ASAP. But now she's going to awake. Now she's going to awaken, ladies and gentlemen. She is awakened. No. It is
Brace
the
yourself, Andrew.
Schmoebot.
Can't wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Schmoebot is awake, and it'll be awake for just a little bit while we prep for the stories, because there's so many news stories out there. We're going to find out if Joker is actually, Hollywood Reporter says one thing, Deadline says the other thing. Kathleen Kennedy made some really strange comments.
Awesome having the amazing CRL caster on. Oh wait, that is not Rich Slater.
Damn it.
I always thought dropping a golem in the rear was a euphemism for taking a dump. Rachel and Drew are the greatest team that should have been. They should be on every week.
Oh God!
Welcome to the Schmoebot.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so interesting. It's funny because like people, even someone wrote me this thing yesterday. Said, "Look, I'll be honest with you. I hated the Schmoebot. I hated the interruption. It's like I look forward to it every day." And I was like, "Yeah, us too."
Mike Hunt's attorney would like for you to return his voicemails. His assistant Gary Busey has been replaced with Brooke N. Rubbers and Eaton Beaver from nicking RB3's nipples. Pick up phone now. Thank you, Schlong.
This is just the moment for people to get out there, like
Rachel
6-year-old.
Rachel said it. Rachel said it too. Rachel's like, before we start, she's like, it's just you give them an outlet and they're gonna, run with it. They're gonna take it. But it's the thing is, it's like how creative can you get with it? And even that.
Good morning. So glad to see Rachel back on the show, and it's great that you were able to find a last-minute replacement for Ben.
Oh, nice shot. He's getting his.
I got a call last night at 12:30.
Yeah. From who?
From you.
Oh, from me.
Be on the show because Ben couldn't be
Where
here.
is the MCU division? I want that belt.
Oh.
23 movies is enough to have its own league.
Good thing to talk
Love
about with Rachel.
you and keep up the good work.
Wow.
So the Star Wars has a division.
Yep.
The
Hey guy, love everything you do. Don't let what else is said deter you. You are and always be the GOAT. Can we get an impression? Hashtag Action Army.
An impression of who?
Impression of what?
I don't know.
I'm smoking.
MCU division. Should it happen?
I would say not a division, because I like Star Wars. Maybe it's like that. Okay, I just don't get mad at me. Star Wars is a division, I get it, but like it's 4 matches a year, maybe kind of thing. Is it's so specific? But the exhibition Patreon match that we did, the really 5 of us, that was one of the closest matches of any kind of match to have all 5 people
hey,
in
Drew,
it.
do you know where Snickers is? I do.
What?
Wiping
Snickers.
his puppy schlong all over your pillow. He told us he likes Ben better.
Okay, it's one thing to go after Drew. Don't go after his dog.
No, he just said the dog was wiping his schlong on the
I
pillow.
literally just got a visual of my dog humping my pillow. Good thing he's not home.
Oh man, you really are getting it real quick here. Yeah, I think Alex Garland.
Alex McFarland.
McFarland. She said Alex Garland is a director. She said she goes get ready because the Action Army was joining up. So the MCU division, whether or not it can happen, or
I'd say
not.
like if you could do it if you have like a couple of 5 ways and then like maybe like a mini tournament.
Sean Gerber would be unstoppable.
It's entirely possible. He played like pretty much a perfect game. Yeah. But you look at Kevin, you look at Jay and Mike and Eric Zippo called the match, but he would have loved to have played in that match.
So that's why I'm interested in trying to do it. But it's one of those things where it's just like maybe to try to get a sponsorship from Marvel to do a tournament.
Sure, it's like its own special little thing at some point during the season.
So something. Okay, fantastic beefs. And by the way, so I didn't mention this. Streamlabs.com/the Schmoedown. That's where you can interrupt the show with the Schmoebot if you like. But you can also submit questions over there. There's a lot of differences. The first difference is that they don't take a percentage out, as where Superchats does. And the other thing is you get more characters over at Streamlabs. Up to you, depending
Testing
on...
Testing 111 2222 3333 STSTSTSTSTST.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, I can't count. Proceed.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Appreciate it. Fantastic beefs. After Token, Potter, and Nardia, Narnia, the best-selling fantasy series is, what? Can you guess it? Do you know?
Oh, Wheel of Time?
Yes, it is. Wheel of Time, former Inner Geekdom champion there. Even
what the hell is
I have no idea. I have no idea. But I said, in my head, it goes, don't read it, ask Cushing, dummy. What the hell? Even ahead of Game of Thrones. Amazon is filming the series right now. It's an epic fantasy at its best. Kristian, knowing you'll love it if it's done well. Thoughts? Is this true? Well, I love this. You know.
I think so. It's a little. I would say it skews a little more Lord of the Rings than it does Game of Thrones. But it's a really, really well developed world with a lot of unique fantasy ideas.
Yeah.
Some fantastic characters. Robert Jordan wrote them until he passed away, and then another writer had to come in and finish them. The only reason why it's ahead of Game of Thrones is because there's way more of them, and he had a way head start.
Right, right.
He was writing long
there's a lot
before
of
Martin.
material.
So there's a ton of material. So it's not surprising to me at all that it was once Lord of the Rings paved the way for, fantasy to become a little more mainstream, and then Game of Thrones came along and knocked it out of the park.
Right.
Everybody was scrambling. What are the other properties? What
Sure,
can we do?
it's
What can
usually
we,
always have the same Hunger Games and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Soon, that Wheel of Time probably went first.
Okay.
I'm not surprised.
So yeah, I mean, if that goes down, I'm always fantasy for me. It's bring it on.
Yep.
So if it's done well, and I'll be watching. PC. Do you still need a couch? I heard on Collider Live, Jeff is selling his couch. If you think I would take a couch from Jeff Snyder, sir, I would be better off going down the street and looking for a couch over there. God knows what the hell was done on that couch last night.
You clearly do not know Kristian, and you clearly do not know Jeff.
No, thank you, sir.
Kristian's a family man.
Outside in the rain.
Yeah, I know.
I get a couch from Jeff Snyder.
Jeff Snyder's like, yeah, I'm selling my couch.
The faction with the lowest amount total wins in the 2019 Schmoedown Awards should watch all the Cats trailers on repeat as a punishment.
Yeah, whoever loses and comes in last place should watch all the Cats trailers. I mean, those trailers are really bad. I mean, and the fact they got everybody in it makes sense.
I can't
Tom
believe
Hooper.
the cast.
It's
Hooper.
I know.
That's definitely part of it. And okay, so I don't know if I never saw Cats. I didn't see a lot of Broadway plays growing up or musicals or anything like that. I don't know anything about it, but I do know it has like a really ridiculous cult following. But based on that trailer, is it just like American Idol for cats?
That's what it looks
like. That's what it looked like. And I was like, really? This is the thing all my friends love so much whenever it's in town, they go see it?
With dopey comedy at the end. That comedy was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah, no thanks.
The makeup, everything about it, it's like scary. It's like hard to look at and then worse to listen to.
What would you rather do? Watch that movie 5 days in a row? Or sleep on a Jeff Snyder couch.
I think I gotta disagree and just watch the movie. I watch that movie every day that I don't have to sleep on Jeff's couch.
You won't get gonorrhea watching Cats. All right,
you might find something under the cushions, though. You might find something under the cushions.
I'm not looking through those cushions. You don't want anything to do with any of that.
It's true. You might come up. You might come up with $20, but that's not the only thing coming up with. Let's see. ZCM Zombie Custom Maps. Say this is Andrew Dice Clay. Hey, limited time offer. My soapy nipples drinking biscuits. The trailers are itchy. I mean, let me try that again because I can do it better. Limited time offer. My soapy pineapple dunk biscuit litter titties are itching. I mean, what's it?
Oh boy.
Oh man.
Hey Andrew, guess what? You're a sissy Kristian. Any update on Chicago next year?
Oh
no,
that's a legit question.
You know what's funny?
You're a sissy Kristian.
Yeah, there was no comment. There was no comment. There was supposed to be a comment because it came out. You insulted me. You took it out on me. Yeah, Chicago. Maybe I don't want Jaboba. Maybe I want Pert. Anyway, Chicago. Yeah, it looks like Chicago is going to be either May or June. That's what we're looking at. And I have to probably book it in either May or June because my wife was very clear about, she's like, we're going to that one. Because she's never been to Chicago, so we're going to take the whole family with us. But yeah, May or June, and it also depends. Look, like I said, the league is going to be so different by then, and the coaches at that point, we're looking at a really massive prize for the faction at the end too. We're working on it, and so it's going to be a complete like. Yeah,
Jeff's couch.
Former Schmoedown
champion.
It's huge. I mean, it's a big prize. It's not a good prize, but it's a big prize. It'll wrap around the entire house.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Jeff's couch has become yeah, right now. So anyway, yeah, so you win Jeff's couch if you got it. All right, let's see. Suge Knight, 323. Hey, Ben, how was that Augie Doggo Bogo schlong last night? I think he meant you.
I think he's talking about him.
Oh, okay.
There's a Ben in the room.
Yeah. I streamed Jedi Fallen Order last night, and there's like this Ogdo Bogdo boss. I don't want to spoil anything for you.
Please don't.
It took me 30 minutes to try and get it down, and then finally I had to lower my difficulty. And I was on medium. I wasn't on hard.
You were on the
or
Jedi
anything.
thing.
Yeah, and I just was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Suge Knight was laughing so hard at me in the chat.
You're
and finally I
gonna
had to
miss
lower my
Dan.
difficulty and beat him.
I can feel it in my balls is the most underrated Schmoedown moment ever. Drew's like the male Karen Smith.
Is there a way to translate that for me? I don't know what that meant.
I'll read it back. I think he said it's that one moment is when you were playing Dan. You said I could feel it in my balls. So that's the best moment in Schmoedown history.
Such a good moment.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were going to cut it. You told me you were going to cut it.
No, I cut I think my dick is hard.
Yeah.
That's what I cut. That's what I cut.
There's a tidbit for you guys.
Feels appropriate in hindsight.
That's what I said. Someone asked me about it yesterday. They said, "Why'd you cut that?" I go, "Ask yourself that question again." Especially.
You said that on there?
The real question is, will Rachel come out of retirement to win Jeff's couch?
Absolutely not.
Just stay in retirement forever.
I will.
Yeah, especially it's like I'm having the bug again. What's the prize? I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
I love that her face, not even for a half second did it even try to sell that she was remotely going to play along. She's like, done.
I love it. Okay, good. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Going into this. Oh yeah. Anyway, so we played that game. Suge Knight was asking about that particular that game. I'm loving the game. Really enjoying it. I can't wait to play it again. I tried to sneak out last night to do it. It's like the problem is the alarm in the house is really loud. All right, and but it was just even when it's not on, it just goes boop boop. Back door.
Yeah.
Right? And my wife's like, I got to go to sleep tonight. So I'm like,
you're like crawling through the
trying to
window.
figure
Get out of my own house quietly.
I'm trying to figure out how to like lower the freaking volume on it. It's like, you want to call ADT right now? I'm like, no, I'm all right. Forget it. So then I try to then this is the other thing I need you to help me with, because like last night, I'm like, you know what I can do? I have another PlayStation in the living room, and it's my same account. I'll just download it in there, and then it says you got to delete certain material because I don't have a drive in there. So you got to delete certain memory for it to go on. So I'm trying
For the couch fund. Hey guy. Hello Rachel. It's raining in Los Angeles. I love it. Thanks for the laughs.
It is raining in Los Angeles, yeah.
It is.
But I thank you so much. But
It's dark times.
Yeah, I try.
That was a nice moment we just had.
Oh, you get a couple of them.
You brace yourself every time it starts,
Just like,
and then you're like,
Andrew.
"Oh, that was a nice one." Okay.
No, the next one we're gonna get is hey everybody, hope you're having a wonderful day today. Schlong. But I was trying to delete stuff, and it goes, go here, go to the storage memory, delete it. That's bullshit, because I'm going through it and it's like, and all it's showing me is the memory. I don't need the memory. It's showing me how to delete the freaking thing. And then I'm deleting downloads, does nothing. So for an hour, I'm like, this is an hour. I could be in the office and my wife's still awake. She's still awake. I could be back by now. She's still awake. And she's like, oh, well, I was watching Friends. What the fuck? I'm trying to play this game. It's work. It's work.
Yeah.
It's work. You can't convince anybody that playing video games is work. Especially,
I can.
You think you can convince my
That's
wife?
my job.
There's a lot of people.
I don't know if I can convince your wife.
You know what? You're right. You know what? You're absolutely right. Just to say to somebody, why didn't I think of that, Andrew? It's my job. It's the first fucking thing I said.
Kristian, did you check the sound?
Clear your cache.
I've got big balls.
Uh-oh, you
I've got big balls. They're such big balls. And they're dirty big balls. And HES got big balls. And she's got big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all. And a schlong. I have spoken.
You sure have.
Yep.
Today's show,
ACDC.
I gotta tell you, this is the most outrageous the show's been in a while, and I fucking love it.
The way she's enunciating, it's like, I've got big balls.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like, she got the shimmy shake. And she's saying, eventually, I'm surprised there hasn't been like art of the Schmoebot yet. Like there's been there's been photos, but like the art. I'll tell you, I promise you that the first one I get, I'm gonna hang up on the wall somewhere for sure.
Of course, because that's the crazy thing about the fans. They are so creative.
Oh, shit.
They send stuff all the time. Like I remember the first time anybody put me in like a poster for an upcoming match, and it was like a Harry Potter themed thing. I was like,
Brian Ward, right?
You can do that?
Yeah.
I am terrible with Photoshop.
Well, we have found so many talented people through this. I mean, Brian Ward, obviously, he does all our graphics. Janine. But the theme of this show with David B.
Oh God,
your music. David B. is a master. And I talked to Thad yesterday. Very possible that David B. is going to be playing the Corruption theme song live.
Really?
Oh, that's incredible.
Very, very likely. We just have to do sound checks to make sure. But can you imagine Mike? And Mike's earned it this year. It's like to have like the live music playing when he walks out for that championship match. That'll be crazy. So speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, as far as your predictions on what we have at Spectacular thus far. First match. Bateman versus Bibiani finals. Take your bias out of it.
Out of it.
And who wins the match?
God, man, it's so tough to ever root against Bibbs. He's just so good.
Yeah.
He knows so much. I'm starting to wonder if the desperation and insanity has started to mess with Ben's brain.
Head,
I wonder if it's starting to get into
Jim
his
Kelly
head
syndrome, the Dan Marino syndrome.
Yeah, I'm not sure, especially because everyone's starting to call it he's starting to call him the Dan Marino of the Schmoedown, which is not who you want to be.
No.
I honestly, as much as I love Ben, I think Bibbs is going to take it. There's just something you catch players in moments, and every great player has a moment.
Yeah.
You talk about the Shire Wolves and what Rachel did with IG and teams at the same time and on the singles run. Not only is it exhausting, but there's something about playing that much, and if you're playing at that high of a caliber, it's just like when you watch the greats play a sport. You know, like Jordan when he's in his prime.
Sure.
It feels like that might be the time for Bibbs. We'll see what happens with the teams tournament, because I think that could be a thing that maybe derails him if Shazam gets eliminated maybe in the second round.
That could hurt his confidence.
It could totally hurt his confidence. So I think that if Shazam has a good run, then Bibbs takes it.
Okay.
I think that if Shazam struggles, then I think Ben takes it.
Rach?
Yeah, I think that Bibbs, I still say that he knows more than anybody else movies-wise in the league. But he has also gotten in his own head many times.
Then the traitor will lose for sure. When he broke Bibbs' table, it was over. Go Oyama.
Oh.
Yeah, wow.
Paul fan. All right.
There you are.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with all the quick improvements to the show and looking forward to seeing
what the
what's coming next.
You guys are amazing.
Wait,
Quick
call to
comment,
action.
Schmoedown Season 5 Episode 44 is not available due to copyright strike.
That account's tied to my credit card.
Kalinowski
What the fuck?
Can you look into it?
I'll read that over to where they just said. But as far as that match goes, I know I've gotten that thing from people said that Kalinowski match, I guess, is not available on Collider due to copyright. I have to talk to Fernandez because it's still Collider funded show that episode was. So they still, I bet you they don't even have any clue that
such
that's happening.
a good panel today.
Thank you.
Ben is underrated, hilarious. Drew is amazing. RB3's laugh is infectious.
Hell yeah.
Rachel is a national treasure and must be protected at all costs.
I agree.
And Kristian schlong by.
And why is Brett here for such a Schmoedown heavy show?
I was going to say,
He's missing Kate.
Brett, do you feel like you dodged a bullet or do you feel left out?
I'm just going like, as I walk in, I'm like, wait a minute.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Right after this, we're going to talk about movies.
And the Black Keys.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I love the Black Keys.
Saw him last
Yeah, me
night.
too.
So
Oh,
great.
really?
Yes,
Jealous.
Yes.
There's a DVD of one of their first concerts ever in Portland, and a very, very chubby, drunk Andrew guy jumping in that video. I was like, "Holy shit, who is that?" Oh my god, that's me.
But just so we'll try to get it through it quick. Just a prediction, real quick. So you got Ben or Bibbs.
Sorry, Bibbs. I actually think I'm going Ben.
Ben, okay. So Alex Damon versus Laura Kelly, Star Wars title.
Damon's a freak, man.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't know who's gonna ever beat him. Almost every single person I talk to in the Star Wars division goes, "Oh yeah, I listened to his podcast to study."
To
study.
And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have to play him.
What do you got?
I'll go out on a limb. I'll say Laura.
Laura, okay.
I think she'll give him the closest battle
Don't
that
worry,
he's ever
Brett.
had.
We didn't forget about you and how you hate your kids.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Yes.
Dude, I like you too.
I love how that was
your moment.
That was the timestamp too. Was Brett hates his kids?
Nice, Ben. Okay, so we can't do the teams yet because Founding Fathers don't have an opponent yet. Last two.
I'm gonna win.
Okay.
I'm gonna win.
Well, last two matches here, we got Mike Kalinowski versus Smets for the championship, the IG championship. You're not gonna
I
pick?
abstain. I can't. I couldn't possibly. I love them both dearly.
Yeah.
They are both putting everything they possibly like. What they're doing right now for prep is astonishing. Like I can't. It's going to come down to another letter.
I'm gonna let you off the hook today.
Thank you.
Today.
Of course you
The
are.
day of the spectacular, though, you're giving your thoughts.
All right.
Yeah, man. I honestly want to piggyback on that, but I won't just because I know that you probably only let one of us get away with it. I think. Sorry, Harry, don't tell Peter. Just feels like it's Smets' time.
Think so?
It does. I mean, I wonder, though, because, again, you talk about players going on runs. Kalinowski's had a year run.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that means that he's exhausted or if he's dialed.
Okay.
And I think that maybe the exhaustion is going to start. Because, again, this is a game. There's so many layers to this game.
Right.
Exhaustion comes into it.
Right.
Sometimes your brain is just done. At the end of tournament season, it's done. I think Smets is hungry.
Brett, this is for you. This is the song that never ends. Yes, it goes on and on. My
Friends.
friends, some people started singing, not knowing what it was, and they are still singing it just because this is the song that never ends.
This is the song that never ends. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Last thing before we move on to some more of these questions. So your title match, you've got Bibbs versus Oyama.
Yeah. And then God, I mean, talk about two of the most unlikable champions. Honestly, that is going to be one of those like head down, pound for pound, just like haymaker after haymaker matches. I just want to watch it. I have no idea.
Okay.
It really is just going to depend on the way the ball, the way the questions land that day.
Okay.
That's it.
You got Bateman, Oyama. Who you got?
Don't give it to him.
Does he beat the streak? Does he finally do it?
I think Paul will win.
Okay.
Ben needs a little help with like a wheel spin or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
he's
he can do
he's
it.
100% capable
Yeah.
of doing it.
All right, well,
and
that's
he wants
all,
it.
That's all going down. You hear these guys who really know how to analyze it. The Schmoedown Spectacular, December 7th, downtown LA. Streaming is actually available now. If you want to get the streaming tickets, you can get it now. The Schmoedownlive.com, December 7th, or be there in person. We're doing the Fan Expo first whenever. It's like a mini con that starts at around 11:30 or so, and then the actual event starts at 2 p.m. PST, ladies and gentlemen. So the Schmoedownlive.com, very few tickets left, but you can get them. So please go ahead and do that. So I want to go back into the Streamlabs.com/the Schmoedown. ZCM Zombie Custom Maps. I'm sorry. Suge Knight finished out to ask him about the game, but then he said, Kristian, that hat is fire. Well, thank you so much. Sup, Brett, Andrew, and Rachel. RB3, sup, my dude. This show has been awesome. This has been a fun show. This has been a real fun show.
Good time.
Anonymous, I've been dealing with an ongoing health issue that's been giving me panic attacks. One hit me on Sunday night, and I could not go to sleep. I turned on your Mandalorian episode 2 stream, and it was able to relax me enough to finally get back to sleep. Thank you.
Wow.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
Yes, I'm happy that it did that. I hope that it was not my analysis that put you to sleep. But if that's the case and it helped, and I'm glad that it did. No, I'm kidding. That means a lot to me that you were able to do that. I'll be doing more of those. I'll be doing more watch along. So stick with it, and just keep your head up and do those. It's tough, man. There's certain things. I mean, I went through a couple of tough things this year. I know Rachel has, Andrew has, everybody, Brett for sure, everybody in this room.
For sure.
Brett still going through them.
Brett's a lunatic.
The only thing that helped him is a nice talk on Snyder's couch. So everybody, I don't know Ben. Like, he seems crazy though. So how are you doing? Well, hold on, let me tell you.
I was gonna get his diary out real quick.
Like, Suge Knight is not exaggerating. I was getting so mad at Fallen Order, that stupid frog
Screaming?
last night. Yeah. But I finally beat it. But
You seem like you can go American Psycho style too. I'm scared. I get a little scared.
I'll listen to some
Huey
Phil
Lewis?
Collins.
Yeah, or running around with a chainsaw in the middle of the thing, sawing down the PlayStation. So no, man. Look, keep your head up. Do your thing. Find ways. I'm glad that it was the review that could do it. There's other ways too, and we'll be here. Well, hopefully, we're making you laugh today, and we'll continue to do it. So thank you so much, and you're awesome. Let's see, Jacardo. By the way, and you got to give Anonymous props here, because Anonymous did put $19 because he knew if you put 20, then the Schmoebot would do it, and wanted to, and it was just to have it in there and say
our fans are smart.
Wow.
Yeah, they really are.
It was good. G Ricardo, why does Andrew Guy look like a broke-ass AC Slater? Hope he has enough hair gel.
Whoa.
Where's the $20?
That's a $20 question.
Shithead, you can't just say things like that for $5.
It was $1.
I hope you feel good about
Anything
yourself.
the robot has said.
Bargain
That is the
dumpster.
only time I will love a $1 donation, because that was worth every penny.
He's just like this. He goes, watch this. F you, Schmoebot.
Kristian will read this.
Oh, it's good. Nick Piccolo. Hey, crew. It's awesome to see Rachel and Guy on today. Brett, I love the Black Keys shirt. Question for everybody. What is your unpopular movie opinion? You guys have been killing it with SEN and the Schmoedown. Well, thank you, Nick. Unpopular movie opinion. I'm trying to think. There's got to be a really stupid movie that I love. I think that I can't remember what it was. Oh, you know what movie I love? The one with Adam Driver, Jason Bateman, Tina Fey.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's
Brett,
Jane
we know
Fonda.
you're going through so much. All you need are two things you're closest. Friends and schlong, 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 schlong.
Thank you.
While you were here,
It's something like that.
Something
it's like
that.
Their father passes away, and they're all there for the funeral.
I went and saw that movie in the theater 3 times.
Really?
This is where I leave you.
Wow.
This is why I leave
Yeah.
you. I loved that movie.
3 times.
3 times.
I gotta watch it.
I
Have you
loved
seen it, Rachel?
A lot of people.
think I've seen
I
that one,
saw it.
Yeah, a lot of people
Because I
don't-
read the book. It's based on a book.
Okay, so I remember Amy Rose Eisenbach. She did not like the movie at all. And I said I loved it, and I think that I talk about that movie all the time, but nobody else does. Unpopular opinion?
Finally, we have the true hero of the action army on this show. That traitorous bitch Ben. Bateman isn't even worthy of cleaning Andrew Guy's jock schlong strap. Give this man a medal. #action army, #action house.
That's a real donation.
Yeah, it was really.
You know,
that was like
that
about it,
$1 trash.
They figured out how to put. They figured out how to say the B word in the Schmoedown.
I know they figured out how to do it.
Did they spell my name GUY in there too, just to make sure it was said right? Because that was impressive.
I think so. Yeah, they
Good
do.
job, Jake.
Yeah.
After listening to Guy here and on Collider Live, HES growing on me.
Wow, is that
Never seen him outside of the Schmoedown. H is alright for a schlong. Still Bateman's better.
Anthony Nugent, the great Anthony Nugent, who's just
150 too.
yeah, that's
he's,
crazy.
He's awesome.
These are all because of me. So everyone that
Just
has
you.
my name in it, I get to take, right? That's right.
Oh, yeah, that's
Is that
totally how it works.
Okay,
That's how it
cool,
works.
perfect.
Look at Brett.
Yeah.
Frame rate.
Yeah. Frame rate.
Boy, if I had $1 for every frame rate.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I had something I was gonna do here, but I can't remember what it was. God. All right, let's go. I'm gonna try to keep up with Streamlabs because I want to get to these movie stories. A ton of them, but you guys have just been so awesome with the damn Streamlabs. I haven't gotten to the super chat yet.
Are we going to finish the unpopular question or the unpopular?
Oh yeah,
movie?
the
Yeah.
movie
You got one?
No.
Yeah, you got one. Come on, what do you got?
Speed Racer. It's my
Speed
favorite.
Racer.
I love Speed Racer.
Okay, Speed Racer. What? Anybody else?
There's a movie earlier this year with Keanu Reeves called Replicas. It's real corny 50s sci-fi. It got terrible reviews, but I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
My God, there's so many.
I think I said a couple yesterday.
You did.
Was it Daddy's Home?
Yes, you did. You did. We had that yesterday. That's right.
Loving the show today. All my favorites are here. All my favorites and Andrew Guy too.
Man, the Schmoedown is out of control. This is the best the Schmoedown has ever been, by the way. Schmoedown is really good today.
I was just like, hey, another nice one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
No, not today.
Next time we need a
know
new
how to stick the
camera,
knife
we'll
in
bring
right
him
at the
on.
end.
ZCM Zombie Custom Maps says, what's more depressing? Ken Knapsack recruiting his friends to steal 7-Eleven slushy machines, or JT going to Chili's alone? I'd say that he's recruiting the fans to steal 7-Eleven. Yeah, I think going to Chili's alone. I mean, you get hungry.
Is he ordering off the electronic menu? Does Chili's have those?
With sad music?
Because I feel like if he's ordering off an electronic menu by himself at Chili's, that's pretty damn.
And he's like,
At least Ken is with his friends, pulling off a heist of some kind.
And JT can't figure it out because he keeps ordering cheeseburgers. What's cheeseburgers? Okay. Brad Thomas. Hey, everyone. From Vancouver over here. It's Brad from the old recap show, Schmoedown Central. Oh, I love Schmoedown Central. I wish I would come back. I love Schmoedown Central. Been watching you, Kristian, since Phase 3. Here to continue supporting and still watching the Schmoedown. Congrats on SEN. I can't wait for the spectacular. Brad, I hope you do a reaction. You know what? There is a reaction that I think that, well, I can't say yet. I'm gonna post in the Schmoedown Facebook group. There's a match that's coming up that I would love everyone to react to because I'm very curious.
Hey, Dan
to see how it
Marino
works.
again. I had a career in Miami and I never saw that much hair gel. Keep my name out your mouth, bitch.
All right, I need to set the record straight. It's pomade, you degenerates.
Haskell 420 was the one who put in the Schmoebot before. Teets McGeets.
Oh,
I love me some Florence Pugh. Me too. She is phenomenal. Has anyone seen YouTube show Impulse? A fantastic watch. The lead on the show is Maddie Hassan. I think she's a doppelganger of Pugh. Kind of crazy. Please look her up, and I'd love y'all's opinion. I have not seen that, but I will say that Florence Pugh, I turned to you, I said she's like a young Kate Winslet.
Yeah, she, Kristian and I saw Little Women on Tuesday night, and I did this was a movie with Rachel written all over it. And she was a standout. And I think that was Gerwig also, because if you've seen any of the other Little Women versions or read the books, you know, Jo is the main character and the star, and Amy always got the short end of the stick because she's kind of a little bitch.
Yeah. She is, yeah,
but Florence Pugh really gave that character a lot more to work with and a lot more going on. And yeah, no, she blew me away in that.
She's so good.
Yeah.
She's so good. And Fighting with My Family is one of my favorites of the year. She's so good. And she was great. And Saoirse
Midsommar.
Well, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
I haven't seen it either.
I just do you like Midsommar?
I mean, I don't.
Like's a weird word for
Yeah.
that movie.
You can't enjoy that movie, but like, it's
But you
a great
appreciate
movie.
it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Okay. That movie I haven't watched it yet though. But I really liked what they did with Little Women because it was very emotional in the way that they were going for, and because of the great performances. And Chris Cooper was great, by the way.
It's so funny because I didn't know he played Mr. Lawrence, and he's also got a part in A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which I saw.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, wow, it's just Chris Cooper. I had no idea he had several projects coming out at the same time. But yeah, he's always wonderful.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right.
did you like Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood?
I did.
Yeah.
It was.
I'm so excited.
It's very sentimental, but in all the right ways.
reasons.
And Tom Hanks is phenomenal.
All right, we're going to do this. We'll do about 9 more minutes of the super chats and the
Lucky number 11. There we go. There's my
good one.
weird movie that people usually hate on.
Josh Misnick. After getting
This is Jeremiah, and the way people are disrespecting the best of all time is maddening. The real army is here for you.
Jerry M.
There
That's
you
my
go.
boy.
Got lots of respect from the Action Army today. Josh Misnick, who said, after getting my friends into the Schmoedown, we now do our own monthly. I make the questions, same format, and winner gets the trophy and bragging rights for the month. Loving the show and the new crew. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that people are able to do that.
The fact that the Schmoedown has spawned all of the fan leagues.
Yeah.
I mean, there's several of them
many.
now. Plus, there's the Patreon one, and there was the little girls match.
Oh, yeah,
they had
that's
the
great.
kids
Yeah.
one that just like made me melt. Like
Our champion
I was just gonna
came
say.
from the family.
yeah, it's crazy. And I mean, Kevin, you sent him down there to
Yeah.
boost up his knowledge and came back swinging. So like,
and all I'll say, little spoiler, is that don't be surprised if you see a couple of fan competitors in the draft.
Of course,
don't be
that
surprised.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Adoni, Kristian, I would like you to stream Jedi Fallen Order and Vader Immortal. I'm so excited for Vader Immortal episode 3 tomorrow. Well, as far as streaming Jedi Fallen Order, we're talking about that. We're trying to get it set up. But David and Ben and myself are working on trying to get me to do that. Trust me, I won't finish this game until my kids are in college, so we'll have time. William Bedford, the great Billy Bedford, he put in a Schmoebot. So did ZCM's Zombie Custom Maps. Call to Action did one. Jeremy Bowers, Jeremy Morris, Paul Denuzio. Austin E says, I'm digging Brett's black key shirt. Loves that. Matthew Hughes put in a Schmoebot. Javier D says, Rachel's thoughts on the Dark Crystal's Age of Resistance.
I'm afraid that
I love
that is
the
on
old
the list. I
Batman
haven't
theme
gotten to it
song.
yet.
It goes N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A Batman Batman. N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A-N-A Batman Batman. Visit Toronto soon, guys.
I'd like to visit Toronto,
Yeah.
so trust me, it's one of the places. So JP, Jonathan, last night had told me, and he probably said, "Why? Don't say that yet. I just said it in a text, but I'm live on air." He said he wants to shoot for Detroit.
Really?
And he said because not too far from the Canadian border, and you can get people to
a good
try to
point.
come in
Yeah.
that way. If you couldn't, if we can't get to Canada because of expenses and stuff, maybe Canada can come to us. So it's something that we're thinking about. So maybe we're gonna put the feelers out there for those in Canada and see if they want to do it.
So Dark Crystal?
Yeah, Dark Crystal.
I haven't seen it yet, unfortunately. I adore the movie. As everybody knows, one of the reasons I retired from the Schmoedown was so I could watch television.
Right.
I wasn't for 2.5 years. So I'm playing a lot of catch up, and that is it's getting further and further up the list as I finally knock some stuff out.
Well, thank you. Jaw Movies put in a Schmoebot, as did 123. Jeremy says, question for Rachel. Have you read the King Killer Chronicles and thoughts on the TV and movie projects?
Yes, Patrick Rothfuss. That's a much newer author on the scene, and the first is 2 books, and a third is supposedly on the way. It's always supposedly on the way in fantasy fiction. They are fantastic. They're really great. Again, a fantastic lead character, a very interesting way of telling the story, framing these books, which all have the same general elements, is always a great way to differentiate yourself. So, I love them.
Awesome. Two Finger Toots. Kristian, do the speech from Independence Day, but it was Rodney Dangerfield. Oh, what is this? My Dangerfield sucks. Speech from Independence Day. Let's see.
Bill Pullman speech.
Yeah, it
Of
is.
course.
Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can do that, but let's see if I can figure it out. So the speech as Rodney Dangerfield. God,
This is going to be
it's gonna be
special.
awful. No, I don't do a Dangerfield, but I'll try it. All right, let's see. Hey, good morning. In less than an hour, aircrafts will be here and join from around the world. We'll be launching around. My wife, she just banged Randy Quaid. That's all I got.
Director's cut. Jesus.
Yeah, it's only $1.
Got him a long way.
Yeah, that's true. Flick Chick put in a Schmoebot. So did Ardia Arcadio, PC did. Schmoebot. Kristen Smith says, look at all these amazing people at one table. I love seeing some of the best people on this show every week. Rachel or anyone else, do you have opinions on the Wheel of Time Amazon series? I'm loving the casting so far. So kind of going back to what we said. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Amazon's is going for the jugular with Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time. They've got a lot of talented people behind and in front of the camera, and like I said, these worlds are so interesting and these characters are so interesting, and studios and streaming platforms are willing to put up the money to make the worlds come to life in really realistic ways. I mean, that's the legacy of what Jackson did with Lord of the Rings, is now everybody's taking these worlds seriously, and that's why they're so engaging. But yeah, I mean, it's Amazon, so they're just throwing all the money at them, and I say, fine, bring it on.
And Jeremiah Morris put in the Schmoebot call to action.
Some schlong thinks if his name is mentioned, he gets a cut. Nope. Brett, you're hilariously brilliant.
Hey.
Rachel is to me the goat. RB3, you made Dog Stepfather even funnier hearing your laugh.
It's very true.
Then keep doing the news well. Oh, and Ben's action partner. Yeah.
Anthony Nugent once again coming in hot here. Thank you so much, Anthony, and thank you every day, man. You're just an amazing contributor. To let people know that we're going to be doing something just for the end of this month. We are going to be looking at the top donor of the month. We're going to be giving out a very special gift.
Snyder's Couch.
Snyder's Couch.
There it is. One more.
Yeah, we're going to be doing. There'll be a lot of those. So we're going to be doing that. Trying to. David and I are working on some stuff to make sure that all the top donators get something, because this is just it's amazing what you guys are able to do. Villanelle, Brett, what the hell? You didn't wear one of those 50 V-necks today? You don't have to coordinate with everyone that sits next to you, It's awesome. Yeah, Billy Belford also puts in a Schmoebot. 123 does another one. Call to Action did one. Exiled Garlic. Hey, Brett, DeWalt or Craftsman?
Wow, that's a cool question.
DeWalt. Definitely all
We're
the
talking
way.
tools, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, just checking.
But I'm more of a I'm actually a Milwaukee guy. So
Yeah. Are you a tool guy?
I mean, I grew up in Oregon, so I like use tools. I'm not a tool guy anymore, but I'm a Thanks, RB3.
Okay. John Movies. I'm very upset that Marvel's Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, two of my favorite ongoing shows, they just announced that their shows are ending or getting canceled. Having said that, is there a show that you love that was canceled too soon? Well, yes, I said this yesterday. This thing Over There was canceled. I wish that would have had a chance for sure. The reason the Marvel shows are getting canceled is because now Feige's in charge of it all, and he's never really been a fan of that side of it. And he wants to connect everything. He wants to connect the universe. So
Rachel declared herself a hashtag guy girl on Chill, and then Jen Sturger declared herself a hashtag guy girl on Chill. Is Bateman the next hashtag guy girl when he loses to the family? No schlonger ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong talk here.
Okay, yeah, a lot of people most people when they ask that question on Chill to Action, it's like, are you team guy or team trader?
It's one of the things that they always ask. You have
too.
to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
And for the what if universe that Andrew and I were partnered together, I went with team guy.
It makes sense. So Ecto Guy says, I love the show, and it seems like everyone is comfortable and settled in and the show is getting funnier with each episode. I couldn't agree with you. I think that it's exactly what Andrew said when he sat down here today. It's like you just feel like you're just in the groove. It's just like you're just chilling out, having a fun time, and I'm pumped to be doing it. And I thank you guys. I'm glad you guys are getting it too. Yesterday was one of the funnier shows, and today we just kind of I think topped it. So, and Brett's here.
Yeah.
So
I think the Schmoebot is the winner of this one today.
This is the funniest Schmoebot has ever been.
They're getting so
Schmoebot,
clever.
The couch, and obviously White Roots, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
Why wouldn't they take it?
Great Toby scene.
Yeah, it's true. We can put Malin Akerman as the lead.
We made Drew.
Oh, dude, you almost got a face full of water.
Good. All right, Kristen Smith. Shout out to the great RB3. Hell yeah, having another one of those days, but hearing that laughter in the background, it just makes me feel better. You and me both, Kristen. Dan Marino putting in the Schmoebot. Jeremiah Morris also putting in Schmoebot. Sean Kataria. The Learner Master line actually makes perfect sense if Vader fights Obi-Wan in the Obi-Wan show. He'd still be a Sith apprentice or a learner in the show. But by the time of A New Hope, he considers himself a master and wants to kill Palpatine and take his place. Exactly. I think Vader is the perfect and really the only antagonist that you can have in the Obi-Wan series. I think it...
Not after they dealt with Maul in
Rebels.
In Rebels. So once they did that, then there's nobody
That's
else.
what I'm saying. Because people are like, oh, they can just retcon that. You think Filoni's going to let you retcon that? Not a shot in hell.
No.
Said with such authority by Brett.
So, Brett, you had a conversation with Filoni? What was the conversation
I
like?
was like, are you going to retcon that? And I was like, what are you fucking out of your mind?
Why wouldn't he retcon it?
Well, because when the Darth Maul and
the Darth Maul's coming in.
You can't mess with Maul, and there's Baby Yoda, and
Baby Yoda trumps everything. So just say that.
You're gonna retcon Baby Yoda? No, not on my watch. Not on my watch.
Hey Kristian, my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression is so much better than yours. Here we go. Come on, Derek, kill me now. Gets to dirt chopper.
That's pretty good.
That was really good.
That's really, really good.
I saw him 2 days ago. Oh, I was like getting
randomly
that
Schmoebot?
guy. No, I was getting in my car and these two guys were riding down the street on their bikes, and I was like, God, that guy's doing a horrible Arnold impersonation. And I looked over, I was like, holy shit, it's Arnold. It's a beautiful impersonation.
3,543 quadrillion 543 trillion 456 billion 432 million 678,986 reasons why Guys among the best in the Schmoedown. And it's not his schlong according to Snickers, but his version of Get It On, Grab My Schlong, Stroke My Schlong. Do a do Get It On, Grab My Schlong.
How long is this one?
It's a long one. Hence why people use Streamlabs. Okay, let's see. We're going to try to wrap up so we can get to the news here. Holy crap.
Get away from this.
All right, Nick Piccolo. Did you guys hear that Tom Hanks found out that he's related to Mr. Rogers? I think it's crazy because he just played him. I didn't know that. I
didn't either, but it makes
it
much
makes sense. He's like the nicest guy in the world. It does make sense. Sure. Anthony Nugent putting in a wonderful donation for Schmoedown. Thank you, Paul Denuzio. Willie Todd says, hey, guys, do you think The Irishman is worth watching in a theater if you can, or is it too long to go way out to see in a theater? Thanks. You guys are my heroes.
I love Indiana Jones theme song. It goes like da 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 da. Da 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 da. What is your favorite Batman movie, guys?
The Dark
Mine
Knight.
is Forever.
No, mine's Dark Knight.
Mine's Begins.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't tell the difference between them. Well, the first one of the one with the one guy.
Okay. Good call. Adam West.
Yeah, Adam West.
Shark Repellent.
Shark Repellent is all time best.
Okay, good. So anyway, let's so the Irishman question. Look, it depends on how far you're going to have to drive for it. Because if you're going to have to drive half an hour, 45 minutes, and that tacks on to a 3-hour movie, depending on what time you
3
go.
3 hours, 30 minutes.
It's tough. So if you can see it on Netflix, we should just watch it on Netflix if it's that long. Yeah.
To me, it's actually ideal for Netflix because like for 3 hours and 30 minutes plus trailers, it's like you're looking at a 4-hour runtime, no intermission. Yeah. Like you kind of need a break.
All right. TJ Marconi with the Schmoebot and Haskell, the Haskelbot, who just put that last one in there. Okay, so we didn't get to any super chats yet. There was all Streamlabs. So what we're going to do, and Batman, obviously, Batman 69, who put that one in there. Oh, sorry, one more. Jim Kang 96. Quick question: Didn't you have freedom to do whatever you wanted during Collider Live? I just feel like you've been saying you were not able to. When I feel like it was as free form as SEN Live. Still love the show. Just want to know. Well, I never said that I didn't have my full freedom. The difference is that I call the shots here. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like there's the thing is if we're all on the table and I want to go to 12:15, 12:30 and everybody can do it, we can do it. I don't have to worry about other shows coming in. I don't have to worry about other things. There's particular things that need to be covered on networks that, and understandably so, that when you don't own them, and there's other ways to program them, and then you want to program like we hardly ever take breaks on this show. If someone needs to pee, they can go run out and do it, and whatever. It's like,
wait, we can
in the yard, the bathroom over there, right
in the rain.
But it's all. But the other thing too, freedom to where, like for me, the Schmoedown is something that it's like I think that movie fans in general, it's the sport that I've wanted to create, and there was only a limited time I was allowed to talk about it on there too. There are other things that I want to be able to talk to other people about for a while that maybe isn't just necessarily other things that when you're working for a network. We got to cover this. We have to do that. We have to make sure we do this. We have to. It's it's their right to do. It's their network. So I just didn't want to do that anymore. And that's kind of the same thing with like Jedi Council. And Fernandez and I had many conversations about this. I enjoy a conversation like we're having here today. I grew bored of the panel format. I grew bored of the fact that it's just like turning movie news into CNN. It's just a lot of people like it. I just don't. I don't like doing here's our story. This is what I think about it. Okay, Andrew, now it's your time to talk.
Yeah.
You're over. Now, Brett, it's your time to talk. It's just not my style. So that's kind of what I meant. Hopefully that answers your question. But thanks for killing the comedy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Totally kidding. All right, let's shut the Schmoebot down. Shut the Schmoedown down. We'll bring her back. We have so much to cover. We have so much to cover on the news side. Ben Goddard is here. He is going to be giving us the news. And Ben, there's some. Let's start with the main topic, man. What's going on?
All right, so we've had some conflicting reports this morning. Joker, which is officially crossed $1 billion even without the help of China. Hollywood Reporter came out and said Todd Phillips and his co-writer and Joaquin Phoenix were all set to make a sequel.
Yeah.
But then right before we went on air, a Deadline came out and said that's all clickbait. They haven't even started negotiations or any deals. So which one are you guys on the side of? Do you want a sequel? Did this movie lend itself to a sequel? And do you think it will happen?
I'm going to start with RB3 because RB3 and I talked about this earlier today. He had some great takes on it. RB3, what's your thought? What do you think?
I really think that a lot of this is going to really come down to the success of like Birds of Prey or like their other R-rated stuff, because I personally don't even want to see a Joker sequel. I don't think this story's not even designed for a sequel. And I don't think, obviously like Todd Phillips made a lot of money. Joaquin made a lot of money, but I think part of the reason why it did so well is because of the originality. But yeah, I do think it's going to depend on like the next movie after that. We obviously know Warner Bros. Is very reactionary, so this seems like a reactionary thing, so you could kind of believe it. But I think this serves best as a one take kind of thing for me. Personally.
Rachel, you were nodding your head. You agree?
Yeah, 100%. The idea of having a singular take on the Joker was half the appeal. And the way that it presented was, this is a take. And he even came out and said, this might not even be the Joker that you're all thinking.
Exactly.
This is just a version. This is just an idea, a moment. And it to me, I had issues with the story, but the performance and the look and the feel of it, was very singular.
Yeah.
It did not lend itself to continuing. And look, I get it. It's a business. They want to make money. It just made $1 billion without China. That's kind of insane.
Right.
So of course the conversation is happening, but I think creatively the way to keep going, and what's also in the article, is to take on the other villains in this way. Mm-hmm. Tell them in different types of genre films. Have Todd Phillips be involved. Have other directors come in and bring, you make an anthology series. So it's still in the same vein. But I love your point about this might depend on how something like a Birds of Prey does. Because unlike MCU, why doesn't DC do the non-MCU thing? Let it all be loosely connected, but let them all be their own things.
Mm-hmm. So I'm on the other side of it from you guys. I understand your points. I think your points are great. I would be completely up for a sequel, and I think that it could work because when I hear the behind-the-scenes conversations that Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix have made public, and the way that they present the character and the way that they would want to do the character, and because Joaquin Phoenix has been so adamant in the past not to do sequels, that he feels strongly enough that he would want to do a sequel, he's not a, let's do it for money guy. He just has proven that he's not that. He could have done 5 or 10 Doctor Strange movies and been set up for a long time. That's not his style. There was something that he really connected to with this character, that they feel that they could do another story if that indeed is the actual case, and they decide they want to do it. And Todd Phillips and him come up with the right thing. That's a team I want to see do again. Now, Warner Brothers clearly has, as they should, has the idea of, well, the first one made $1 billion, let's do another one. Mm-hmm. Ben Goddard's concern was that the studio would get their hands involved in it now much more because now it's successful. My counter to that is because then you go back to Nolan. And when Nolan did Batman Begins, that's when you get involved in that first film. When Nolan did as well as he did, they left him alone with Dark Knight and let him do his thing because the formula worked, and plus the fact that starts to work in with the creative control that starts to happen with agencies and say, look, we'll make this deal, but this is the control. You can't get involved, and he'll be protected in it because a lot of deals have just changed over the course of time, because I think Sam Raimi was another thing that Ben had brought up. And it's like, well, but Sam Raimi's deal was very different with Sony back in the day, and Warner Brothers has also seen great success. But Drew, you hear this, is this something that you'd want to see? Do you want to see a sequel? Where do you stand on it?
I'm kind of on the fence. I like the idea of what Rachel's talking about, of an anthology series that follows other villains' origin stories told in a different light. I think it'd be even cool if you saw other directors coming in, if like she said, but even if Todd and Joaquin were just take on different stories and have them play different characters, that's definitely like the fanboy in me wishing I could see him do that, just because I think he's so amazing.
Yeah.
But an actual second Joker story, I want nothing to do with.
Really?
And I also think that the other problem with this anthology series and how interesting it is how many supervillains out there do we care about as a general public, not as us in this room, but as a general public, about like other villains other than Joker. Like how many other big time villains do we actually talk about regularly? Like Joker's the most iconic superhero villain. It feels
Can't you see like a Lex Luthor one though?
I can. So that was the other one. So Lex Luthor and the Joker feel like the two.
Riddler?
Maybe, but so let me finish my point. So the point is that all of this, us knowing who the Joker is, back from '89, back from Cesar Romero, it's seeing something different was exciting, but that was the reason why the movie did so well. It was so controversial. It was supposed to incite violence, like this, all these bad things about it. There's no way all that hype and talk is going to happen with another movie. It's not going to make even close to as much money. It's going to make probably like $300 million, maybe at best.
But if they keep the budgets down, because that's one of the reasons why Joker is doing as well as it is because it was not an expensive movie to make. Comparatively speaking,
sure, but you can do it as well. Let's say this costs 60. If you give a little bit more and made it like 100, that works. But that's my biggest concern with a lot of these franchises, a Terminator and all. It's like you're putting 170, 180 million dollars into this shitty thing that doesn't.
You don't need
to. The first one was so good because it was so scaled down, and because even though I'm talking about Terminator, in Terminator 2, it was a bigger budget, kind of the same way that Cameron kind of flipped the switch on Aliens.
Yeah.
He did that with Terminator, but I think with this movie, you'd also want to keep it in the same vein because what's made it so it was small. It was a character piece. It's the fact also is would Joaquin Phoenix want to connect to that type of? I mean that's going to take a lot out of you in that role, but. Either way, man. And then, Deadline though is saying that no, this is horse piss.
Yeah, Deadline is saying that neither Todd Phillips nor his co-writer Scott Silver have had any negotiations, so it hasn't even come close to the table. I'm sure Warner Brothers wants it because, like you said, without China, this movie has made buku bucks. But I even asked the chat, and they don't even want a Joker sequel. Like, I don't know. I don't think it lends itself to one because one of the theories even was that the whole thing was in his head. I don't want to spoil the end of the movie.
I hated that.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing about it is that it did lend itself to different theories and ideas, but that it was just like I said before, like it was felt very singular and very like a capturing a moment. And what I liked about it and why I think the anthology thing could work too is the idea of taking a superhero villain and grounding them in a more realistic way. I mean, yeah, you can say it ripped off, the King of Comedy and all the 70s films and whatnot, but the idea is take a villain, take a genre of film or a style of film or whatnot, and pare it down and tell stories through these lenses. That to me is more creatively interesting, and then people will go to see it, hopefully, based on, they did it with Joker. Let's see what they do with this one. Let's see what they do with that one.
Good point. Yeah,
this also like DC is also like on a hot streak this year. They
yes,
had
Shazam,
Joker, Shazam, and Watchmen on HBO, which is an important example because
is it DC? DC is
DC is the original publisher of Watchmen, and they're behind the show.
Right.
I think that's important because that could go to show you, like, even if there's not a platform for these movies that you want to necessarily get weird and experimental, at least TV, at least HBO could be another platform for that too. So if they're to do a Joker series, maybe, I think I'd probably be a little more open to that if it's like Joaquin coming back, but not a movie. I think a movie's too.
Great point. Brett?
When can I see this not in the theaters?
Today.
Today it comes? Okay.
Actually,
yeah,
no. I have the screen right.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because I've been so disappointed. Can't do that. I don't loan my
You can watch it here.
Yeah, I'm disappointed I wasn't able to go see this one. I've heard so many good things about it, and I don't understand. I mean, this Joker couldn't go into the other films, right? Because there's the...
It's not connected. It's not connected. Do you want to review it for Brett to the Future on Friday?
Sure.
Okay, good.
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. All right, let's move on because that was good discussion, guys. I'm very happy with that one. So what do you think, Ben? What's next?
We got big Star Trek news. J.J. Abrams, who brought us the 2009 Star Trek and then Star Trek Into Darkness, and then Star Trek Beyond didn't perform as well, and the fourth one fell through with Chris Hemsworth, but now we've got some revitalization with Noah Hawley. If you guys have watched Legion and Fargo, two of the best shows on TV right now, he is bringing it back. He's producing it, I believe, and hopefully writing it, and it's got the same cast, Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, Carl Urban. So, do you guys want to see more Star Trek in this universe?
I do. It's funny because I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Okay. Shocking.
Yeah. So when I saw what J.J. Abrams did with the first two, that clearly those two were made for Star Wars fans, even maybe more so than Star Trek fans, right? And it's why a lot of Star Trek fans I think were pissed off. Star Trek Beyond was very Star Trek-y, and I happen to love it.
Oh, I did too.
I loved Star Trek Beyond. I thought that Sophia Boutella was incredible in the movie, and it didn't do as well or even close as well as the other ones. And I thought it was a bummer because I thought it was better than the second one. Into Darkness, and I didn't mind that one either. But I am curious to see where it goes. I would like to see what he's able to bring to it. So I'd like to see it. Do you care?
I love the 2009 Star Trek. Yeah. I really do. I honestly, I'm more bummed about the Hemsworth story not happening because I love the opening of that movie maybe more than the whole rest of anything else that happened. And I really, really do like what JJ did. I think that with him at the helm, forgive me, what's his name again?
Noah Hawley.
Noah Hawley. Yeah. From Legion, from Fargo. I think he could put a cool dark twist on Star Trek. Maybe make it just a little bit less of what we got in those other two movies. I mean, I loved the first one, but then it felt like they just got worse for me. But maybe that's because I'm not a diehard Star Trek fan. Right. I grew up watching some of the Next Generation, but that's about it.
Were you a Star Trek fan before the Inner Geekdom stuff? Or
oh, absolutely. I grew up on Star Trek for
sure. Because I remember it was one of those categories that you just got significantly better at.
Well, it was one that people didn't associate with me. It was never that I wouldn't have done well in it early on. Okay. It's that I got the Harry Potters and Lord of the Rings, and that's what I was known for. So the match that I played that I landed on it and kept it, everybody's like, why would she do that? And I'm like, because I grew up on Star Trek. Right. Well, but nobody just associated that with me.
Well, would you want to see this?
Yes, because I do love the reboots. I think the casting has been phenomenal. Like Carl Urban as Bones is my favorite thing ever. I'm disappointed about the Chris Hemsworth, and also because S.J. Clarkson was supposed to direct that, and unfortunately she also directed the pilot for the Game of Thrones that we're not going to get now. And I was really excited for her voice to be out there. I don't know what the story is going to be. That's the biggest problem, because I think Into Darkness leaned too heavily into the lore because they wanted to get Khan back, and that worked for some Star Trek fans, but honestly not for most. And then Star Trek Beyond felt like an episode, which I thought was great. It was a fun episode. It was great, but then now people are saying, well, we want more mythology. It's like, well, what do you people want? We gave it to you, you didn't want it. We didn't give it to you, now you want it. So I don't know what they can do next that's going to bring people back into the fold. Noah Hawley, to me, I'd be interested more so than anything else he's a visual filmmaker. Like what he did with Legion is kind of nuts.
I was gonna say, like, Legion is
what is he gonna make the Star Trek universe look like? So I'm curious for that, but I'm a little worried about the story. I don't know how they, kind of bring it back to a place that appeals to both fans and the general audiences.
You like this stuff?
I do like it. Again, like Rachel said, like Legion is literally insanity, like visually. So I don't know how you're gonna make Star Trek usually has an aesthetic kind of built in. So I don't know what happens to that. My biggest question is, two questions. One, that Noah Hawley was supposed to do a Doctor Doom movie before the Disney Fox deal went through. Now I'm kind of guessing that might be dead.
Yeah, they're gonna wait to bring Fantastic Four back into the fold, I think, first before any of that goes down, because Feige, I think, is keen on trying to get them back into the MCU fold, so you're not going to see that for a while.
Right, but also I wonder too, I mean, we know about the Chris Hemsworth Star Trek movie, but there's also the Tarantino Star Trek movie.
Which they're saying is separate. That that they're still developing that.
It's like
in
his
theory,
Joker,
but it's it's an offshoot type of thing. So this one is supposed to be the fourth film in the Star Trek, the Kelvin timeline universe that we're used to. Did anybody see Lucy in the Sky?
No,
I heard it was bad.
I did
it's
too.
Got a 23 on Rotten
because that
Tomatoes.
was Noah Hawley's big directorial debut, and it just bombed.
Oh wow!
Do you think Picard coming out has any effect on this either moving forward? Do you think people care? I know it's different timelines, but I mean, like, just getting Star Trek
just
fans.
In terms, I mean, Star Trek is sort of back since 2009. It's kicked into high gear. I have not watched Discovery, but you can better believe I'm watching Picard. So yeah, I mean, it's a property that sort of went away after Nemesis, and then has made a resurgence as a popular IP that people are interested in.
Yeah, and without Transformers, is really Viacom's only main franchise.
Right.
They're trying to milk it.
And you guys are talking about the craziness of Legion, and that lends itself to Star Trek. But Fargo, both season 1 or 2, are the most interpersonal dramatized stories about crime. So I'd love to see that in Star Trek as well.
Yeah. All right, Ben. So
I did see the first one of the reboot. Just want to point out. I actually saw it with my wife in the theater, which is strange.
2009.
Yeah, I'm like, how did I do that? We had a 2-year-old.
Ben. So this Kathleen Kennedy thing. There's a lot going on with Kathleen Kennedy.
There's a lot going on. She did an interview with Rolling Stone, and it honestly is up to you guys of what you want to talk about, because she talked about how hard it was to create this new trilogy, that there was no pre-existing lore, which is a little ridiculous. She talked about the Feige movie isn't going to come out for a while. She still insists that Rian Johnson's is still on the team. But she says that the Feige movie is not the next movie that's slated for 2022, even though her contract is up in 2021. So it's just where you guys want to take this. Do you think she's going to be around after 2021? Do you like her comments about there being no pre-existing lore for the trilogy? Go.
All right. So, well, to start with the first question, do I think she's going to be there after 20?
I think you should start with the second question, because that kind of informs whether or not you think
the
she'll
lore
be.
stuff?
Yeah,
Well,
like what we were saying before we started.
The conversation that we Rachel and I were discussing was that she was asked about, were these kind of difficult to do, and did they find, because the directors for episode 9, because Trevorrow was on it, then moved on. She said, well, it's difficult. These movies are always difficult to do because there's no source material. She said there's no comic books, there's no novels, there's no. And the first defense that I said on that was, does she mean specifically,
like before the
does she
movies?
mean like episode 9? Does she mean episode 8? There's no source material for those movies in particular, right? And if so, she should have made that clear, because if I'm working for Lucasfilm and I'm writing a novel, I'm like, wait, what? And then I'm like, so all these comics that they're pushing, well, we don't have comic books, and what the hell is this that I'm working on, right? It was just worded poorly, if that's what she meant. The other thing is that it also puts a concern of, oh, wait, well, they're not paying attention to any of that stuff. So with all this great source material that they do have, we just talked about all these books that are getting turned into Amazon series. Yeah. You have these great Star Wars books and legends and stuff that you could turn into series that she's not paying attention to, that she doesn't want to do. It does add into whether she's going to be there. I don't think that's her focus. I think her focus is jump off the court after I hit this next home run with episode 9. She's going to make a lot of money on episode 9. It'll be yet another hit under her regime. Obi-Wan's going to do very well as a TV series. Mandalorian is doing very well as a TV series. And there will be a lot of wins for her to capitalize on. If she waits until the next movie comes out and they put someone on there that it doesn't do well, and let's say Rian Johnson is in there, and he puts another movie that it's divisive, it falls back on her when she could walk off and go, look at everything I did. I want to go get my next big studio job and make a lot of money somewhere else and make a lot of different movies the way I want to make it. I think it's beneficial for her to do that.
Especially if that comment is indicative of the fact that she is not a super Star Wars fan. And by all accounts, it seems that she's not. She's not somebody that, read all the novels and the legends and material that we grew up on, and is not, a super Star Wars fan. What she thinks about is what producers should think about, which is the general audience. How do we get people interested in this? And if she's a little less interested in the really loud core, super fandom.
Right.
Well, so, I mean, if she sees this out, and it does feel like an ending, when you have 9, it's the definitive end to the Skywalker series, and you have these 2 television shows that are still a part of all of that, and by all accounts, everything that comes after this is either way in the past or way in the future or way off of left or right field, then that seems like the perfect time to back off and say, I just hit, the biggest home run in cinema history. I'm going out on top.
Yeah, right.
There's something to be said about that. If she's not somebody who loves it so much that she wants to stay there, then why stay?
That's right. So, Andrew, the thing is, like, if you look at, I talked about this a little on Dark Side Light Side yesterday, was that if you look at what she has done with television, which is essentially what a producer should do, is say, okay, Favreau, Filoni, you guys, I'm not necessarily, I kind of get what you're doing with Mandalorian here, but I trust you to. What's the vision? Here's your budget. Here's what I can get you. Here's what I do. Boom, go. Hit. As opposed to then saying, well, I like that director. That director is hot right now. You get your own movie. We'll figure out the second one. All right, you get your movie, and then we'll figure out yours. And that, it's worked financially, but it hasn't tied the audience together. So And especially there's no lore.
Is there a way to tie the audience together with Star Wars?
Yes. If you look at
I just feel
Mandalorian.
like they're never. I mean, yeah, Mandalorian, but every other movie that's come out in my life, every single one. I mean, it's hard to talk about the prequels,
right.
But let's just say 7 and 8 and Rogue One. It's like it's still so split. They're always so happy and so angry. Like I don't know what to. I don't know how to make Star Wars fans happy. I don't know what Kathleen Kennedy does. I think that she leaves after this. That's one thing I can say. But I mean, Star Wars fans are probably the most passionate fans out there. Period. And it does seem that they're very, very hard to please. I mean, a lot of people hated The Force Awakens when it first came out, but then in retrospect, they come back and like, actually, it was pretty good, even though it was just kind of recycled New Hope. And now JJ is kind of going to go off on his own because he has the confidence after what Ryan did. Right. And it's like, I don't care. I want a good Star Wars movie. And I want to stop talking about it.
Right.
I just want to watch Star Wars and leave me alone. Like, that's what I want.
Well, that's what I've done.
The internet will not let that
know,
happen.
But it just seems like there's more connectivity with the fan base since Mandalorian came out.
I do have to say that has been shocking.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of positive response from basically every Star Wars fan.
Because it feels like Star Wars. Ultimately,
exactly.
It feels like Star Wars. Like, there's not these. There's and I brought up the humor, the thing where it's like the perfect. This is a brief spoiler from episode or chapter 2. Was the Jawas are talking to the Mandalorian, and he says something in Jawa, and they're like, that doesn't even sound like Jawa. It sounds like Wookiee. And he goes, well, do you understand this? And he tries to light him on fire. Like that's just normal Star Wars humor. And Ben and I just had this big debate about how, like, you go ahead.
I got the I think a part of everyone loving the Mandalorian is because it's outside of the Skywalker thing.
That's totally part of it.
Whoever takes on the helm, which is going to be big after 2022 because it's no longer Skywalker, no longer all that stuff, it's going to be more open to reception because there's not all the lore attached to it. There's not like, no, that's not what Luke was supposed to do. No, that's not what whose Rey is involved with or related to. It's going to be completely separate. And I think I do love, like, Mandalorian's film great, everything. And that is saying there's rumors that Jon Favreau is going to play a lot bigger part in the future of Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Not even just season 2, like
movies.
I
would love that. I think that was smart,
I think that's part of it, though, is that it's completely separate.
Right.
And there's no like, oh, this doesn't match up with this timeline and etc.
Yeah.
Who do you think will take over? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
it's okay. We don't know because that actually ties in perfect. It's a great question to tie into the Feige thing, right? Because people thought originally it could be Feige, but now with his bigger role at Marvel, that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Now, and she also said we don't know when that movie is going to happen either. So that could happen maybe after I don't know, how many years does he have left doing this job that he's doing at Marvel? What was that contract like, right? So I would love to see would be amazing if they decided to do exactly what Ben is saying. The rumor here is let's put Favreau and Filoni in charge of it all. Why not? Favreau has proven that he can take a movie and make $1 billion with it like that, even in a movie that a lot of people didn't even like and said it was just recycled stuff with Lion King, right?
Yeah.
And you look at what he did with Jungle Book and you look at his other movies, and though that team of Filoni and Favreau, they just got magic going right now, the two of them.
I just don't know if, like, because I think that Feige's the anomaly to me. He's a producer and a creative person. He gets both sides of it. And I think it's hard to find those people at the top rungs. I think most of the studio heads and executives and whatnot are more business oriented. And I think Kathleen kind of falls a little bit into that side of things. Filoni, to me, I think more of in terms of creative. And Favreau too, but maybe there's a third person, there's a trifecta who's a little bit more of the business studio running side of things.
Favreau has produced a lot of stuff.
He has.
He's produced a lot of television.
But between the two, I think that he probably has the more experience in that
what
respect.
about them as a team? Anyway, there's a lot to be said. We want to move on because we do want to get there's so many super chat questions we didn't get to and Streamlab questions we want to get to. But is there anything else that we should talk about here? Oh yeah, I guess the one you want to talk about for sure, right?
Please
we
say.
touched on it
we did
earlier.
touch about it. We talked about it.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier, but I just talking about Star Wars and everything.
Yeah.
They released some of the Mandalorian numbers, and I don't know. It says
as far as ratings, you mean?
Yeah, ratings and clicks. Basically, it got 40 million demand expressions is the term they are using, which had a stronger demand than 4 of 2019's biggest streaming originals: The Umbrella Academy, When They See Us, The Dark Crystal, and Good Omens. But they said it was 40% less of a hit than Stranger Things behind DC Universal's Titans.
Wow.
So I don't know if that's because it released the day Disney Plus opened or, a few days after. Do you guys think these are, I guess it's not technically bigger hits, but do you think they're better shows than like The Mandalorian, like Umbrella Academy and Good Omens?
I haven't seen them, but it's always going to be a bias for me because this is a show that I wanted a Star Wars show since 2005 when they announced they were going to do one with Ronald Moore and everything, all that, and George Lucas was working on it. So I've been anticipating and hoping that it would change the genre of the way people took Star Wars. So this is something that I've always wanted. Like, you can get rid of a lot of my favorite shows, and I love Stranger Things, but if you told me that I have to choose between Stranger Things and Mandalorian, bye-bye Stranger Things. I'm good with the Demogorgon, never seeing it ever again.
And that's where we're at because, I mean, he just listed off things from several different platforms, and we still have cable TV. We still have network TV. There is such a saturation that it's impossible to have one show that everybody out there is going to watch.
Yeah.
Like it's just not possible. And also half of that's language I don't even understand.
Right,
like,
right,
I'm like,
right,
there's
right.
a new way of determining this
yeah.
stuff, these clicks and everything that I'm just like, and I don't even know because for Netflix for so long wasn't even releasing any information, and now they're releasing it. We're just supposed to trust it.
Yeah. And remember,
I don't
and Disney
even
Plus
know.
has only been out for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more
and it's
numbers.
not out in Europe yet, so
Right.
I don't know what those numbers mean.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Right, right.
it's
So we
to
don't
me,
know
it's
yet.
like statistics. It can kind of make it seem like whatever you want it to in any given moment. But
Is that everything? Okay.
I was gonna say, not to mention that Stranger Things was on Netflix. Netflix was on way before Stranger Things. This is coming out the same time.
Right, that's right. That's right. So is that everything? That's the majority of stuff.
There's brand new news that
Yes?
someone tried to cast Bruce Willis as Martin Luther King. No, I'm just
Wow. Look at Ben. Nice job. All right. So, yeah, it was good. Now, she's coming back, ladies and gentlemen. She's coming back. Andrew Guy's
boy.
very excited
I
about
can't
this.
wait.
The Schmoebot is back, and I'm actually going to start. So, for those of you out there who are joining us for the first time, please submit in streamlabs.com/theschmoedown or your Super Chat, whatever you want to do there, too. I'm going to go through the Super Chat because there's a ton of Super Chat questions I didn't get a chance to get to, and let's start them out. TMP Tunes. Also, not going to let you get away with it here, Rachel. For Rachel, since you are friends with both, who do you got at Spectacular between KO and the Smasher at the Spectacular? I love you at the desk. Please do it more.
I definitely plan on it. Thank you. I really enjoy being on the desk. Oh God damn it!
Here it is.
Watch this. Watch. You really want to get Rachel's chest here? Right? 5, 4, 3,
Oh my God, PTSD.
2, 1.
Kevin.
Wow, look at that, Rachel. Okay, so Rachel has Kevin Smets. You heard it. Tweet at Kalinowski. He's on Collider Live right
Great.
now.
I'm gonna get a text now.
Right. Call to Action podcast. Make Andrew Guy watch the new Cats trailer. You haven't seen the trailer?
Oh, I've watched it. They just love watching me watch it because I was so
Torture.
appalled. It
Yeah,
really is torture.
It's garbage. Random rock and roll riffs and reviews. Shout out to the GOATs, Action Army. Thank you, Shirewolves. Dog Files. 1 of 2. I feel Mando is overshadowing Rise of Skywalker. If I was Lucasfilm, I would have put the Mando trailer in front of Rise of Skywalker and premiere it in February. Only reason for doing it like they are is because they fear Skywalker could bomb. No,
and everyone's going to go see it anyway.
Yeah, couldn't disagree more. What it has done is the exact opposite of what you're saying. It has gotten a fever pitch. It got people excited for Star Wars.
Yeah.
That would have been a colossal error to put it out in February afterwards too. Because what if Skywalker doesn't deliver? Then people could be like, I'm just done with Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because now, if it's not, if Skywalker. First of all, it'll do well, but if it doesn't, then people go, "Well, I didn't like that. I'm going back to Mandalorian." So putting it out at the time that it did on the launch of Disney Plus was the smartest move they could do.
Yeah, especially because I mean, have you guys watched any of the other Disney Plus things that came out at the same time?
The Goldblum,
like the
thing.
Goldblum,
The Goldblum thing and
yeah.
the Imagineering story.
Listen to the
and,
Goldblum thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw one episode of
the
each
sneaker
of them.
one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the one I watched,
Yeah. They're fun and everything, but they're nothing you launch a campaign on.
No, no, you can't. No, you can't. Right. Dog Files. Oh, you did that one. Sorry. Kristian Alante. Guy is the best thing about the Schmoedown. Also, Deadline is reporting Joker news is fake. Yeah, we talked about that. Also, the Deadline, because Deadline was like, no, that's not the case. It's something completely different. But who knows what's going to be actually.
The conversation is being had.
Yes.
We all know it's happening.
Yeah, right. Of course, it has to be happening. Dog Files, once again. 2 of 2. They knew Mando would generate goodwill. You can't waste that after a potential bomb. Well, there's no chance Rise of Skywalker bombs.
It's not gonna bomb.
There's no
now,
chance.
maybe
Even if it's
there's
terrible, it won't
right.
bomb.
Last
There's
Jedi
no
still made a
chance.
ton of fucking
Made $1
money,
billion.
right? Like, so it's going to do that.
There
Whether or
is-
not there's still a division in the
Yeah.
fandom,
There
who
is
knows?
no-
But it's not gonna bomb.
There is no chance.
And this is
it
what we were
bombs.
talking about with the Charlie's Angels. Is like, to me, so what is bombing people hating it or just not getting the numbers?
No,
the money.
bombing is so. This movie probably costs close with marketing $200 to $300 million.
Yeah,
right.
Over 300. For
Over
sure.
300.
I think so.
Let's say 350. Okay. If the movie makes $350 million.
Back in my day, 20 could buy a whole dinner for 10 people. Now all you could get is a 255. Character message read by a knockoff version of Siri. Oh well. Might as well get my money's worth. You suck my schlong. Frame rate.
The Schmoebot is a comedy churnout. But so anyway, so if it just hit that, if the Rise of Skywalker just makes its money back, that's a disappointment. That's a huge disappointment.
And that's also impossible.
It's impossible. It's going to hit $1 billion. It'll hit $1 billion.
I feel like
now,
it's already made.
I know.
With ticket sales.
Outsold Avengers Endgame pre-sale.
Yeah,
40%.
No chance.
It's Star
that movie
Wars.
bombs.
You know, like there's just
and it's coming out in December.
Of course, everyone's families are together.
Yeah.
Everyone's
I'm going
seen
opening
Star
at night
Wars.
here, and then I'm going to see it again with my family when I fly home. So
no chance. Jacob Patrick. Oh no, sorry, Emma McAllister.
Hey, but Jacob and Emma, much love.
We'll get Jacob in a second. Emma McAllister said, "I will ask you the same question that I asked Ben yesterday. Drew, will the action reunion be as good or better than the end of Warrior?"
God, there's few things better than the end.
Exactly
of
what
Warrior.
he said. Too. Yeah.
The action reunion. I just imagine us being in a very large arena. And the lights going down, and Still Dre coming up, and everyone losing their shit.
I know.
That's all I can think about.
Could happen. Maybe not. Jacob Patrick, big shout out to the GOAT. Got to make Drew a recurring guest. Yeah, I think so, man. This is one of this show's been really fun. I'd like to. I think we'd be able to have. The only thing is Rachel's another person who drives a bit of a distance to get here, but I told her the door is always open. She's welcome to be here whenever she wants, and I know that she also wants to be on Schmoedown Backstage.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I feel like it would be because Ben's going to be a little biased because he's playing.
Right.
I think it'd be fun to have some, get Sam in there, get, some retired
Absolutely.
players to come in who have, taken the step back and can kind of analyze, everything that's going on with the matches and do that kind of thing. I think it was your brother who had a very sweet comment about when I called the match, the IG match with Ellis. It was the Chandru Kevin match. And he said it was like, an old pro who had played came in and was commentating on it, and that was a lot of fun.
Well, we're gonna make sure that show, by the way, Schmoedown Backstage, it debuts this Thursday, and so tomorrow I just got confirmation. Tomorrow's guest, we already know, is Josh Robert Thompson, who, if you've been watching the Collider Deepfakes, he's played George Lucas. I believe he also played Jeff Goldblum. He'll be on the show tomorrow. And joining on the table also will be Winston Marshall, and Mike Kalinowski will be here. And then Mike's going to stick around to be on the debut episode with Ben Bateman. So it'll be me, Ben Bateman, and Kalinowski on the first episode.
You're not going to get a word in edgewise.
Probably
the
not.
two of them are just going to go.
The Schmoebot is going to be going crazy on those two.
Them.
You should make them sit in these two chairs.
I'm really thinking about it. So anyway, that debuts tomorrow around like either 12:30 or 1. We'll have tomorrow. We'll let you know. Podcast feed. So we've already jumped up about 15-20% on SEN Live on the podcast feed. If you listen to this show to me, especially after today, this is a great audio listen. The SEN Live, check that out. Schmoedown has its own feed, and so do my Mandalorian reviews, Talking Star Wars with Harloff. You can find that on Spotify. You can find all these shows on everywhere you find podcasts. So make sure you check that out.
When are we talking about Solo?
What's that? All right, we'll bring it up. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Gamma Comics Collectibles. Harloff is the newest member of Peaky Blinders. Thank you, sir. Jaw Movies. Rachel and Drew Guy would have been the most chaotic yet amazing team in the 2018 tournament. The mix of knowledge and character. If only it had happened.
I will say it also would have been a good match because I have, and I can say it because I don't play anymore, a very big weakness in like late 80s 90s action movies. They're just like, those come up and all the boys in the audience like, oh, that's Drop Zone. I'm like, what the fuck is Drop Zone?
Drop Zone.
Right. Yeah.
Like there's that is a pretty big blank for me.
Yeah. So here's something I've always wanted to do for like Patreon. I want to do almost like what they're doing for Marvel, a what if series. Like what if like the Patriots would have never lost, or what if the Shire Wolves would have never lost, or what if Guy and Rachel would have been a team? What if Rachel would have went heel? Like those type of matches, I think for Patreon next season is something I'm looking forward to doing.
Isn't that how Heel Kalinowski happened in the
It
first place?
absolutely
It was
is
the
what-
Heel Watch that
Heel Watch.
Aaliyah
All the
and
belts.
Dan, all the belts.
Yeah.
That's the
It would be something to try out. Okay, Janine Bryce, the great Janine the
Hi,
Machine.
Janine.
Hey.
Yeah. When Ethan and I couldn't team up
I
due to
love this.
schedule, and Rachel and Guy couldn't happen, the Machine and Guy were also supposed to be a team. That's true. Team The Money of Color. Because of schedule, it also didn't happen. That's very true. That was also a team that was supposed to happen. There was people.
It's so much fun. Like there could be a book
Yeah.
of like
I
short stories of
know.
all the
Rachel
things that
and
Sam and I
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
were teams at the very beginning
That
to start
team
it all.
would have been
indestructible.
insane.
I know.
It would have been the. Oh
But
my
remember,
God.
Sam wasn't the great player that he
It was when
back
he
then.
teamed up with Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
really
You know, quick,
skyrocketed.
It's because when you're sitting next to Drew McQueenie,
Yes.
You can
he-
speak to this.
yeah, you're just like, this guy knows everything. He knows everything. I
He's
need
got
to
a
just
couple
not
holes, though,
be
here and there, but
a
you just gotta-
dumbass next to him, so I gotta be better.
Right.
You really gotta be better if you're gonna play with him.
Yeah, there was myself and RB3. That one was touched on for 1 second, I
It's
think.
a really exciting story.
The two of you guys together against the Wildberries would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
actually.
God,
I'd
yeah.
totally do
That'd be a
that.
lot of fun. Yeah.
I
Melon,
lost to the Wildberries, by the way.
it's right with Ruvalcaba.
Wangers, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
No,
that was
it
our
was
first match.
Dagnino.
Ah,
It was
okay,
Dagnino,
okay.
and it wasn't Wildberries. Yeah.
Wild Bears have only beaten a couple teams.
Melanie Dawn. It's a shame none of you would talk about the Elric saga being optioned for TV. I don't know what that is. It was the father of dark fantasy. The Witcher stole a lot from it. I don't know anything about it. You guys know anything about it?
I don't know anything.
Oh, I'm sorry, we don't know
Well,
anything about it.
shame on you for not
guess.
talking.
I know. Seriously. Sorry about that, Melanie. James Eaton. Hey, Kristian. What's it going to take to get the Schmoedown to come to Australia? Money.
Wow.
Yes. Rachel, you are the best.
Thank you.
So, it's just, are you kidding me? I'd love to go to Australia. It'd be
Jeez.
amazing to do all those things, but it's just to try and fly all these crazy lunatics to Australia, put them up.
Take over a plane.
Yeah. So, once we're looking on sponsors and all those things, but international, it's not too far outside the realm, but we're looking at it. Epsilon Audio. Hey, everyone, I love the show. This is a hell of a random question, but what do you think of launching the X-Men or Fantastic Four in the MCU through Disney Plus rather than a movie? I mean, if you
What
want,
they can do with series is pretty impressive. I mean, but the MCU, they sort of tried that with the Netflix shows and with Daredevil and all of that, and they touched on the fact that they were in the world, but they
Right.
didn't cross over a ton. And we all know that Feige would prefer a more blatant sort of crossover type of thing. The thing I like about it is that, like, in television, you can really explore characters in a different kind of way. And X-Men is the comic I grew up on, and I adore it. So I would love to see it treated really, really in depth and really get into the gray area of all the themes in that series. So I like it, but I also don't see it happening because it's too big of a franchise and it's too important to MCU. And now that they can actually integrate it into the MCU, they're not going to not do it.
totally agree. Sorry. Good day from this side of the Pacific. Coffee needed. Rachel, thanks for being the example to all of us introverts. And Drew, what can I say that you don't know? See you guys around Spectacular. #Army Action Army for life.
Sadi's a legend.
Yeah.
She's the sweetest.
Yeah. So it's
I can't wait to see all the fans at Spectacular.
It's gonna be so many, and once again, if you did not know, if you're planning on coming to the Schmoedown Spectacular, the Fan Expo, you want to meet a lot of the competitors. You want to come out and see myself and Mark, and it's just gonna be like a mini con. It's gonna happen on.
Please pardon the interruption. Now I understand why Benjamin Button Goddard was relegated to the children's table this week. H is turned into a 14-year-old from 1997. That is all. Back to Fallen Ardor.
I'll read that one out loud. That was a good one.
so good.
All right, Emma McAllister coming back over here and say Midsommar is my top movies of 2019. A lot of people really, like you said, appreciate it for sure. And once again, so the Schmoedown Spectacular, I didn't finish it. Schmoedownlive.com is where you can get tickets for that. We are going to give a few more tickets away probably this week. Epsilon Audio, can't wait for the Spectacular 4. Hell of a random question. We did that one already.
Yeah.
I apologize. Sorry. My eyes are definitely getting checked out soon. Jesse S. Lewis. You like that Batman theme? It cost me $28. Yeah.
Okay, listen here. I just heard that super chat.
He's on a delay.
But I do get that every time I wear a hat.
Yeah.
I wore a hat backwards, and someone told me I look like the kid from Recess.
Yes.
So I'm not even.
Would you like some mashed potatoes and gravy?
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's so good. Okay, so the reason I read it twice is he submitted twice. So thank you. Okay, Alex Shishek. On Call to Action Schmoebaits last night, we had our competitors argue which team should star in a buddy cop movie and which faction deserves their own reality TV show. What would be your suggestion? Action Army, Action the Wildberries.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. This is what you wish, though, there was more people in that faction to balance it all out.
Odd couple.
Oh yeah, with
Chandru should be in a faction with them, just
he's
because
a
they like to.
character,
they love the dancing and the singing and the jumping around, the energy.
He's a real character, that kid. Yeah, too. You know why he lost against Smets, by the way? I told him this because I'm very superstitious. Right, as where the Patriots, they changed up their music when they lost Above the Line. It was the first time he didn't do his silly dance.
Yeah, it's true. Because we even said it. Mark and I were at the table and like, what dance is he going to do? And then he came out as Captain America and he didn't dance.
That's why he lost.
Dress up as something someone else is dressed up as.
That's another. You can't do. He's done that 3 times.
He's a rookie.
I know.
Rookie mistake.
I know. He's done it 3 times. That's true. Isn't it funny though? Ben, I was talking to Ben about this. Is that you remember when these two were like the hot shit rookies, and now they're like the old pros? It's like look at these kids.
We joke about it all the time. We're like, hey, Paulo, we got no respect for the league.
I'm so mad they didn't get when Chandru played, who was it, Zipper or somebody? And guy scared the shit.
Oh, it's there.
Is it on the?
Yeah, it's at the front of Hannah's match.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You don't get quite the full effect.
I know, because like I was just watching, and guy just like slams on the desk when he's walking out, and he scares the shit out of poor Chandru.
Oh, that's so good.
I felt so bad. Because he's the sweetest little guy.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Let's go. I'm just going to finish up these super chats. Go back over to Streamlabs. Okay, let's see. Akshan GH, why don't other companies try to recruit Kevin Feige from Disney? I'm sure that they have. Yeah. JJ and other producers got 500 million plus deals. Love the show from Sweden. I'm sure that they have tried to get him, but then Disney's not going to let him go, and they're going to put together a big deal. He's already the difference between JJ was on for a few movies. Right. He's been locked in with Marvel for a long time, so he's in the system, and they're, what's his name, Iger and Horn aren't letting him go anywhere.
He's too synonymous with the success of MCU. Yeah. The fact that they made 23 films and made it all come together in Endgame the way he did, you can place that on his shoulders.
Totally.
So,
he's not going anywhere. Jackson Barber says, Rachel, what failed fantasy movie franchise would you like to see getting a streaming TV reboot?
Well, they're already doing, aren't they doing the Willow show?
Are they really?
I think so. Cool. Ron Howard announced, this was a few months ago, I think, that made this girl's heart very, very, very happy. Also, although I'm a little more mixed on it, Time Bandits is also, I think, getting
I think they said a movie,
show.
Is
it a movie?
Is it a movie or a show? Maybe you're right. You might be right.
One or the other. But those
who can keep up
in terms of like the 80s fantasies that I grew up on, like Legend is right up there too. Like those were the things that I loved. And I mean, we're clearly not over rebooting everything ever made in the 80s, so they're coming.
Yeah. I don't want the Time Bandits. Is doing a Time Bandits TV show. TV show.
Who's doing it?
YTD.
Taika Waititi said,
which is, if it's not Gilliam, that's
I didn't know Taika Waititi's doing it. Come on, that'd be pretty fun.
Okay. I mean, if it's a TV show, baby, but I don't want to see a film of it. The film was great, and I don't want to mess.
It's one of the 5 movies Brett has seen.
So. Yeah, it's one of the 5.
That's true. Let's move on.
RB3 coming in hot.
I thought he was my friend. We laughed on that couch.
Remember that meme? Does that pop up sometimes?
All the time. Yeah, we just got it recently. Yeah. We did Jonathan Caro here. SEN Live is a great medicine for my cold this week. I'm happy. I'm happy for that. I think that it's that's my point. I want to make sure that you guys can listen to it in the car, watch it when you're homesick, whatever you want to do. We hope we give you some laughs, and today has been a great example of that. Robert Griffith, anyone into this cosplay? Anyone into cosplay? If so, who's your favorite cosplayer? My favorite is Adam Savage from Mythbusters and Tested. No, I mean Rachel Cushing yeah.
I don't know much about the world. I mean, I go to Comic-Con and I gawk at people and I'm like, how the
have you never done it?
Not at Comic-Con. I had never done anything like that until Schmoedown.
Really? Because you're so good at it.
It became a thing where I was like, why do people do that? And then I did it. And I'm like, oh, because they can hide behind the character.
Yeah.
Like, wait, this is a great idea.
I went to LA Comic-Con this year and I cosplayed a little bit. And these people are so talented with the stuff they build. It's crazy.
Yeah. Nobody else here? No, I haven't done it. So
my daughter's very interested in it. I almost took her to the LA Comic-Con, but I was on a couple panels, and it was like she would have to sit and watch for a couple hours. But she was really interested in, and I didn't know she knew anime, and she wanted to be some anime character and go and dress up. So it was like, maybe something we might.
My daughter already wants to get an Elsa dress. So,
oh yeah.
Soundwave Chronicles. Hey, SEN Live. What are your top 3 MCU? Mine are what's EG? Is that Endgame? Yeah, Endgame, IW.
Infinity War.
Infinity War. I'm not too far off from that. I think.
What was his third one?
Civil War. I would say for me it's Endgame, Infinity War, and then Winter Soldier. Those are my top 3.
I'm too close to Endgame and Infinity War to know if they're going to crack my top 3. I feel like I need to see them more and whatnot. Sure. But Winter Soldier is my number 1. It's been for the longest time. Probably Ragnarok and the original Avengers, or maybe Guardians. It's one or the other.
Okay. It's so hard, man.
It's hard.
It's almost impossible. I love Endgame and Infinity, but I think Iron Man is like still my number 1. It's just the one that kicked it off for me. I love that movie so much. Every time I go back.
Top 3, but do you?
Tony.
Guardians definitely. I love Guardians. I love Guardians, and I loved Ant-Man just because I knew nothing about him, and that was for me cool just to learn a different story than I knew. And then I'd say, I don't know, I still have to watch Endgame again. Yeah. I did finally watch it, but it's a lot, I think I might have slept through some of it. And not because it was bad.
RB3 and then Ben?
I'd go first Avengers, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and I'd probably put, it's either Black Panther or the first Iron Man.
Okay.
Yeah, Winter Soldier is my number 1. Iron Man is it holds up. Even the CGI still holds up. And then I'm kind of with Rachel. I need more time with Endgame, but I'd put Infinity War number 3 just of how much they put in there, and that movie just goes. It's so nonstop.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's move on here now to Kyle Grandinetti. I love you all, and I've been catching up on all the Star Wars animated series. That's awesome. Finished Clone Wars and about halfway done through Rebels and loving Mandalorian. # Team Guy. # Action Army. Yeah, I've been watching the Clone Wars also on Disney Plus. Go ahead and check that out if you haven't. You can catch up on all the shows, especially now that the final season's coming out in February. Heath Hersom, what do you guys think of a mobster Joker movie similar to Black Mass?
Oh, Johnny Depp.
As long as Johnny Depp's starring as Joker.
I don't know about that, but I mean, maybe it's...
But that's what I'm talking about. Like, I love the idea of taking these movies and, like, applying genres. I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why I like Winter Soldier so much is because it skewed a little bit. It made a 70s spy thriller in the MCU. And I feel like this, origins of villains could be a great way to try different film styles with these characters.
Ryan Payne, who has to do Macho Man.
I refuse to let Guy get all the love. Rachel is and will be the queen of Schmoedown. Dig it? See y'all at the spectacular. Ooh, yeah.
Nice, Ryan.
Thank you.
Hurt my throat there. Aaron Klister. In order, how do you rank these non-super comic book movies in order? Watchmen, V for Vendetta, Sin City. I will go, for movies, not TV show, I will go V for Vendetta, Sin City, and then Watchmen.
Exact same.
Me too.
Yep.
I'll go with the order they ranked the Watchmen and V for Vendetta and Sin City.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, V for Vendetta, I just rewatched on Netflix. It's amazing.
Yeah,
music, great
I
music.
put Watchmen Director's Cut
number
2, and then
I like
Sin
big
City.
butts and I cannot lie, you other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with a nitty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung, want to pull up. Tough cause you notice that butt was stuffed deep in the jeans she's wear.
Thank you, Anthony. All right, I'm going to do. So, if you please do not submit any more super chats or the Streamlabs. I'm going to finish up the super chats here, and then I'm going to get into the Streamlabs. So you guys have an extra 5 minutes. So you're cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. So let me get to.
And I did see those films, so.
So how would you rank them?
I can't rank. I hate ranking them.
Well,
Yeah, you want to do it?
But I'm just saying, in case you're wondering.
Was there one that you remember?
I really like Sin City. I really enjoyed Sin City.
I still love Sin City.
The first one's great. Emmanuel Steinberg, Drew. # Benny Two Belt. It's an inevitability.
Ooh.
No, because that means he has to beat me.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
He's also got to win. I mean, who they're playing next? They just beat Inky and the Brain. And
I think it's still up. Oh, did the
No.
Crimson Fury Loose Cannons match just drop?
That just
it
happened.
did, which was crazy.
I know. So
it was
they're
crazy.
they're going to play Crimson Fury now.
Yeah.
So another corruption battle.
People sleep on Tim.
Yeah.
That dude's a
No, I know.
legend. He's
Really
like
good.
if he lived in LA,
He'd be
Yeah.
he'd be in
he'd be trouble.
top
100%.
contention
You
for
pick
belts.
him up in like the 4th round because I think a lot of people sleep on him. The other managers, maybe people that are newer, because he's so good.
Yeah. Last super chat, I think. Let me just double check. Last super chat. No, 2 more. Frank Torres, what do you think about a Warcraft TV series adaptation? I'm kind of over Warcraft. I don't know about you guys. There's so much lore, incredible stories to tell. Have you guys heard of The Lich King? No.
The Lich King, yeah.
Lich King.
Yeah.
Only from playing.
I mean, it's the world is incredible. It's very heavily fantasy, and I
Yeah.
think that turns off people a little bit because, like, what Game of Thrones and some of the other ones brought was a little more groundedness. There's politics, there's interpersonal relationships, and it's a little bit much to go with all
Right.
of the real high fantasy elements. I did not hate the Duncan Jones movie. There are parts of it that I hate, but there's
Yeah.
a lot
I
that
didn't
he
hate
did
it.
really good. So I wouldn't mind them exploring the world in a more TV show environment. I think it's actually kind of a good outlet for that.
Yeah. All right, Paul Denuzio, I'm heading over to streamlabs.com/the Schmoedown. Real talk. Ben and Drew are phenomenal people who really care about their fans and friends. It's why the Action Army has been able to recruit so heavily. Drew, do your impression of Albert Finney doing the Bill Pullman speech.
And it was Independence Day. My wife.
Harry,
This is Harry Carey.
That's good. Really good. No, but to jump off of that, yeah, I think that what Ben and Andrew have done with the community, I think what they did also is, and this is something we've talked about many times, they capitalized off of the Schmoedown and understood what they had with the Schmoedown and understood the passion and what their fans did and how they spoke to them as characters. And every competitor who does well or even doesn't necessarily do well, look at the Wild Bears, has a patch of fans. And Drew and Ben knew how to speak to their fans, talk to them, interact with their fans. It was one of those things when we went to Houston, and Drew told me, he's like, "No, these guys are coming to pick me up," and I was like, "Be careful, man. You know, watch out for chloroform." And he's like, "No," and he had this relationship with the fans, and they've really nurtured a very. I mean, this Action Army has been extremely supportive of SEN Live. They come to the Schmoedown. They set up a really good environment.
I mean, they've gotten shouted out the last 2 live events when neither of us have been competing.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah,
They
right.
are I mean, I think everyone in this room can speak to the fact, even though you're not a competitor, you at least hang out with him all the time. So you know the Schmoedown fan base is incredible. Some of the most interactive, genuine, generous people that you'll ever meet. And so the Army is... It's the best one. It really is. I love the Army. They truly are friends and family at this point.
And I'm with you. And I'm so glad that we are able to learn more and more about them every day. So let's go and move on to Adoni. Brett, you make me laugh every single time. It's all about quality, not quantity.
Oh, thank you. And size doesn't matter.
My wife.
Is my wife.
The K-Wolf. Hey, the K-Wolf. Hey, Kristian, make sure you have 2 body bags ready for when Who's the Boss beats the family.
Oh boy.
Because McWeenie might just strangle Guy and RMB. I'm all kidding. All kidding aside, glad to have both Rachel and Andrew on the show on my birthday. # Action Army.
Happy birthday.
You're old.
Sean Cartaya. While Star Wars is my number 1, I grew up on Star Trek, and I was a Trekkie first. I absolutely hated the Abrams films and Discovery. I didn't see Star Trek Beyond, but I'm cautiously optimistic for Picard and the Noah Hawley film. I would tell you to go see Beyond, because I think that's the most Star Trekky out of the 3 of them.
Yeah, it's like all the fandoms, the ones who love the originals to the point of don't ever deviate from this. They're just never going to, come on to something like, because J.J. Abrams was a self-admitted not Trekkie.
Right.
He wasn't a huge Trek fan. So he took the elements that he did like or did understand and told a new movie with a new universe. And, you either loved that or you crossed your arms and said, nope, too different for me. So I get that that point of view. But yeah, like you said, with Picard, hopefully that's, just picking up right where TNG ended. Yep. And Hawley's a voice, so who knows what he's going to do.
Who's harder to please, a Trekkie or a Star Wars fan?
Star Wars.
See, years ago I would have said Star Trek. but after the last like 2 years, I'd say Star Wars is probably up there for sure.
Well, it feels like Star Trek is been like, yeah,
we got a movie.
Yeah, right now
like,
but
there's new stuff.
I know. Well, Sean,
or they don't know how to use Twitter and whatnot.
Yeah.
Robert Meyer Burnett is shaking in his bedroom and drinking his milk.
Sean Kataria once again. Kennedy is a fantastic producer, but I think she's been shaky as a studio head. Well, she's not a studio head. She's a production. She runs Lucasfilm. But anyway, look at the problems with the directors. And I think she was wrong for Star Wars in particular because of the lack of care for the lore and other canon media, which is a big part of Star Wars. I don't disagree. I think there's a lot there, but I think that we're going to see how that all pans out once we get to this last movie and when her contract is over. Nico Suave Rigoli, the one and only.
Hey.
Provided I don't screw up one of my final projects, I'm set to graduate college on December 21st. What ridiculous thing should I do to celebrate? Disclaimer. Streaking is something I'll only do if you pay me. Hashtag almost free, hashtag trivia for Thon 2, and hashtag I have spoken, hashtag Baby Yoda. It just depends on you. It depends on what you want to do. You want to go nuts. You want to scale it down, go see a movie, have a drink with friends.
I think the craziest thing to do with a college degree this day is actually get a job. Yeah. I think
that's hard to do.
Yeah.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
Hey.
Actually.
Unbelievable, everything. The one guy. The one fucking guy. Anyway, so Nika, just go out and have a good time, man. That's the main thing. Don't think about it too much. Crappy Movie Diaper. Great name. He put in a Schmoebot. So did the Crimson. How did you get that? The Crimson Fucker put in. Good for him.
All right, then.
Yeah, Lydia Aaron. Let me see if the Crimson Fucker had. Oh, you know what? No. That's why, because Crimson Fucker put in something on the Schmoebot. I can't read this, dude.
You gotta do the impression.
I can't. No, I can't. I can't read this. I can't read this.
God,
and he put it, I can't read this. I can't read it.
I can read it. No,
it's like I almost want to refund you here because I can't.
Good money.
You can't even use
edit it. I try to edit
like
it.
fogging isolate.
I'll do
an edited version.
I'll do a Gary Busey edited version.
Okay.
Hey there, Padre. How's little Timmy? You know what's good for getting things out of a stains of something? Use your imagination. This is a priest joke.
Boy.
Did you miss me? I just said something really inappropriate, and you guys won't be able to read this on air, even as Gary Busey, courtesy from the Crimson Fucker.
That's all I'm doing, brother.
Mission accomplished, Crimson.
Yeah. Lydia Aaron. Guy is probably the greatest heel of all time, but Rachel is the greatest face of all time. Glad to see the two of you on the show. Who is someone that you never faced in a Schmoedown match that you would have liked to have faced or hope that you could face in the future? Start with Rach. Who is someone that you never got a chance to play that you think would have been a great match?
Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the same thing. I feel like
Totally set you up for that.
For sure.
Honestly, I don't really have anyone. I feel like you know what? That's not true. The Team Action versus Patriots is the one. That's the one that got away.
Yeah,
really, I really wish we got that.
Yeah. Poosh. He says, we did that one. He had a Schmoebot. Sean Kataria, again, really enjoying seeing Rachel on this show. I share a Star Wars obsession with Kristian, which is great, but Rachel has the same enthusiasm for a lot of other franchises that I love as well. She also seems just like such a wonderful person. RB3 is all levels of likable. I could not agree with you more, my friend. Andrew Guy is despicable.
It's fair.
Villanelle, do you guys tan or do you burn? And I think you missed my what ethnicity is Andrew question. Oh, okay. So there's two of them. So there's start with that.
Well, I actually started getting sunburns recently. I think I'm getting old. I think my skin is not as strong as it used to be because I'd never gotten a sunburn until a few years ago when I was in Hawaii. And I mean, you could probably speak on this, Rachel. What's it like to get a sunburn? I don't know.
I am like 3/4 Irish and 1/4 Swedish. I don't tan ever.
You burn in the rain.
And I am Korean and Indian to answer your
bro, you can still play Latino,
earlier.
bro. Don't give up.
Oh, yeah, I can still play Latino.
Don't give up here.
Oh, that's great. So I'm trying to find. Oh, there you go. So and do you? How about you? You tan?
I'd
you
say
burn?
I do a little both. It's a little bit of. It depends on how much the screen I put on. But you know, if I put it like a 30, I can get a nice tan going. But if I forget altogether, I'm beet red.
All right. Anybody else? tan, burn, anything else?
I tan very well.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's the part of the tiny bit of Latino
Weird flex,
in me.
but all right.
I tan
better than
very well.
people.
So much so they're going to cast me as Harriet Tubman.
I was this close to a table read.
Get out of the way, Julia.
I like RMB like setting up to answer this question like 4 times. He's like,
Well,
I just got to wake up in the morning, bro.
Listen, I just get black.
That's good. Okay, Anthony Nugent sent in the last, I think the last one there. Let me double check and make sure. No. Anthony Nugent does send the last one. He said, Arnold as Andrew Guy coming out against Merle. All right, let's see. Okay, listen. Everybody thinks I'm going to lose this. Everybody here. There's not one fucking person here that thinks I'm going to win. So I'm just going to come out there. I'm going to be obnoxious. I'm going to break the things in the studio. I'm going to get Ellis mad at me like I do every single time I come out. And everyone thinks this guy's just going to annihilate me. So I'm going to dial it up. And then after I win, I'm going to look at the desk and say, fuck you. I'm going to look at the crowd and say, fuck you. I'm going to look at the nicest human being in the world, who's the nicest guy in the world, and tell him, fuck you. I'm going to get everybody upset with me, and then they're going to walk around and say, my dick's hard.
Excuse me, for interrupting. I'd
Well
love
done.
to hear Brett's thoughts on the weekend box office. Only kidding you. One gives a flying fucks about the box office schlong a longer ding dong.
There it
And Brett
Exactly.
doing his own show about parenting. Any toilet training tips?
Well, that's a good question. Can Brett do his own show by parent? So a little bit of a behind the scenes.
yeah.
Brett and I have been talking about Brett and Kate doing their own show on SEN.
Oh, are you kidding? Their chemistry is incredible.
It's incredible. So it's just a matter of timing and trying to figure it out. But I mean, I think that people would be interested in it, and we're gonna talk about it. So that's something that we want to do.
And the
for sure.
toilet training for that one, you kind of have to just put a regular big boy or big girl or big they pants on and just kind of let them shit themselves. 'Cause no, I mean seriously, if you give them the diaper all the time, they will just keep using it.
Yeah.
You got to let them feel uncomfortable with doing that, and that was my way of getting my kids to go on the big potty.
So people did put in some more super chats. Let me just get to them real quick, and then we'll close out. Sorry, I know you guys got to go. Okay, so we had Frank Torres. What do you think about a Warcraft? We did that. Kyle Grandinetti again. I also think that all the extra backstory done enforces the clone theory. Can't wait to see you all at Spectacular. Well, if we're talking about there's two.
Palpatine?
No, that's Rise of Skywalker. I think for in Mandalorian, but I don't want to get too any
Okay.
spoilers. But if it is Palpatine, then there might be that Rey is a clone. We'll see on that one. Tyler Eklund, when are we getting the Thing watch along? How about Die Hard for Christmas? Both something that we're considering heavily. And
I don't believe you. You're
I'll do
never
the
going to
thing.
watch The
I
Thing
think
at
I'll
this
do
point.
it here. You don't think so? I'm going to do it here. I'm going to invite some people over to do it. And finally, Jay Oliveira, love you guys. Top 3 horror movies. And Guy, have you seen Terrifier yet?
No, I still haven't watched it. I know that we need to. He's a big supporter of our Patreon,
Yeah,
patreon.com/Team Action. Little plug there. And we had a thing where when Ben was having his back surgery,
Right.
we committed to watching like 6 movies. We watched like 3 of them. And
wow.
Terrifier is one of them.
Okay. Well, guys, RB3, hit the music. That's it.
Do we
That's
say
the
our
show.
top 3 horror movies? Well,
say
wait.
it
Oh, you
all
know
once.
it? Say them all.
The Thing, Halloween.
Yeah.
What-
Friday the 13th.
Friday the
Exorcist.
13th. Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street. 1, 3, and The
7.
Conjuring. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on SEN Live. I'd like to thank Andrew, Guy, the Dastardly One. Go and check out Call to Action, Action Army. Go follow them on Patreon. Join it. It's worth it. The Action Army is the bomb. Rachel, the Crusher Cushing, follow her on Twitter. Ben Goddard, RB3, Brett Sheridan. Get those tickets. The Schmoedownlive.com. You're in New York. See us on January 25th. You have the Spectacular. See us. You want to make sure that you see a Schmoedown Live. It is worth the experience. Check us out tomorrow. Mike Kalinowski, Josh Robert Thompson, whole crew. Peace out, Mother Refs.
Brett, come over here and I'll show you how to make a tricky bot happy. Oh. Wipe your face off.
James D. Snow. Did I hear that on the thing?